All right. Let me disconnect quietly. Close out of Discord. Got to do this every time. I'm getting good at this. I'm getting a lot more efficient, I gotta say. Let me also just make sure that we have our Shure MV7 as my microphone. Shure MV7. And then we're just going to do that there. Show the chat. That should look good. And then we're going to go on YouTube. See here. View channel. Copy link address. Okay. Thank you all for joining in. We're just starting up. Here's my live stream. Hold on one second. Sorry, we're just starting up. Just give me a quick second. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. We're getting going. I'm going to also go ahead and turn on my, share my screen so you guys have something to watch while we play. I do highly recommend pulling up my channel on YouTube. It's, it looks better, number one. Number two, I'm gonna do my best to try to pay attention to the chats there. It's gonna help out as well with my just overall you know, engagement and whatever for the thing. Anyway, let's get started here. What happened to my thing? What in the world? Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna. That's crazy. I just had it just right, and it just all screwed. It got all screwy. Okay, hold on. All right. I think we're good. Anyway, welcome to 1stAmender's Thursday streams. This is where I will commonly debate people. We can have just a regular discussion while we play some games. You can see that I actually have a hot takes list. If there's anything that you particularly disagree with, you can always open up my hot takes list and see if there is anything there. I will have facts and evidence to back up all of those viewpoints. So if you want to hop on stage and have the disagreement, I am right here. But until we get a contender, and by the way, in order to become a contender, all you got to do is just raise your hand in the audience, and we'll go ahead and just let you speak on stage, okay? I'll even make a video about you. All right, so here we go. Right now I'm playing a bit of Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is a great game, man. I don't know if anybody has played it. I've been kind of like stuck playing it a little bit for the streams. It's just such a great game to be playing. And it's a lot of fun. And I think I'm about to get into a boss fight. So this ought to be fun. All right. So right now, we have no contenders right now. But who's to say what happens? I usually will do these streams till about 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it gives us about 3.5 hours worth. Let's take a look here. Oh, cool. We get to fight this Triceratops looking thing. Sweet. Oh, sick. Oh, you know it's it's got to be a good fight when you see all right, so we got drill kick here. Ice sword. Honestly, ice sword really strong. Well, let's try that drill kick. Let's see what happens. It's a cool animation. That didn't look like it dealt any damage. Okay, well, let's give Marl some haste, because it's going to be really, really fast. We're going to use that. Nothing there. Okay, so let's try that ice sword then instead. Oh, you know what? I think we got to do lightning. I think that's what we got to do. It's going to deal no damage. Yep, we need lightning. All right, so we're just going to wait for we're gonna haste up Chrono here. It looks like everybody's doing okay, so we have no issue there. But we're just waiting. Let's take a look here. Okay, so we just sped up Chrono, so that's really good. Okay, so guaranteed. I believe like these monsters, they just have they don't like lightning so much. So we just made it weak. Okay, so now I think we're ready to go. Let's try that drill kick. Let's see what happens. Hopper says, nice shirt, dork. What's wrong with my shirt? Is it too dorky? Hopper says he loves it. This is a really old shirt, not gonna lie. This is like a really old shirt. Alright, let's try the drill kick this time. Let's see what we get. Maybe we get a better result now that we used lightning. Hey! I'll take it. Not bad. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now let's try it with Ice Sword. That was what? 456 damage? Let's try it Ice Sword. Let's see what it's looking like. Whack! God, it's such a cool... That deals so much damage. Okay, drill kick is great, but man... Okay, electrocution energy. Okay, that's not good. We need to heal him. So let's get an aura whirl going. And then what we need to do is we got to get another lightning, because I'm pretty sure it just charged itself back up. So we have to get lightning going. So we're just going to leave her there. Let's get another aura whirl. I'm not really too happy about that low health. Let's just... It doesn't... Yeah, I mean, she's got Kiss, so I guess I could, like, use that. Like, all right. They're full health. So I think we could just... I think I should be able to just lightning, and then they're gonna hit really hard here. So we're just gonna wait for drill kick to come. All right, drill kick coming, and then we've got ice sword, which I like a lot. So we're gonna wait for that to finish. Let Chrono charge back up. Looks like he's ready. All right, ice sword. Yeah, this is gonna be an easy fight. No problem. Easy fight. Easy fight. No debates yet, but easy fight. How y'all doing, chat? You guys doing okay? I know I'm doing good. Ice sword? That's not good. That's another... Yeah, that's let's get lightning back up. Hopper says he's doing pretty good. I like that. Okay, we got to get Aura Whirl back up. And do we just Rolo Kick? Did we already use lightning? I think we did. Armin Maiwas says, Google Docs it says Hitler was a Christian. Yes, Hitler was indeed a Christian. Yes. Yes. I'm going to get Ice Sword there. And should I kiss anybody? No, I don't think so. I think we could just hit. I think we could just attack. There we go. 168. That's just... I really don't... let's keep doing Ice Sword. It's just too strong. Great single target. 600 damage. I mean... This guy's got a lot of health. Alright, cool. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You can win by just doing that. I'm so curious if we're going to get any challengers. Bro, the liberal is right here. Don't you want to own a liberal? The ape's beaten Isbell. No, give that thing back to Chrono. But remember, we reptites rule the world. Your days are numbered. Is that gate key okay? Thank goodness, it looks all right. I fight anytime, Azala. Ayla no lose. Burp. Hello, Fluffy. Welcome to the chat. Hello, Maggie, Rook, VR Hopper, Armin. How are y'all doing? We have just started, so we have not gotten any debates. We have here Average Blahaj owner. Average, you are not 18. I am not bringing in a non-18-year-old and making a video on you, bro. I'm not doing it. Trust me. I remember being 16, and I gotta tell you, man, I said a lot of embarrassing things. I would not want that to be on the internet. All right, I'm trying to help you. Okay, I'm not saying you would say something embarrassing. I'm saying that by the time you're 25 or 30, you're gonna look back at yourself and you go, God, that's so embarrassing. Because any remnant of myself when I was 16, I was just like, bro, I am so glad Instagram wasn't a thing. I would have been screwed. It would have been bad. Anyway, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. It's kind of what I'm trying to tell you here. Also, if you want to help out my stream a bit, I am streaming on YouTube, and by just having the Amenders Thursday stream up, you know, you can have it, leave it muted or whatever, up to you, you know, and just have, you know, Discord up. No big deal. It just helps. It just helps the channel. Anyway, anybody who wants to be a contender and wants to get into a debate, all you got to do is raise your hand. I'll invite you, and then we'll have the debate. If we're not getting any contenders, no big deal. I'll just play some Chrono Trigger. Sorry, Chrono. I try to be strong now, just like Chrono. Ayla, come again, Chrono. Party, eat, dance, fight, fun. Chrono Trig D's nuts, says Tuss. Maggie says, bring him in. Join me, guys. Let me see. I don't remember where I need to go now that I have that. I think come again, Chrono. Marl and Luca too. Okay. So me need welcome what you have. Fang, Petal, Horn, Feather. Bring 3 of each. Any 2 items. I give you 1 weapon, 1 item. What give me? Petal? Average Blahaj owner says, wait a minute. What? Am I screwing something up? Fang? Trade for Ruby Gun? Yeah, I'll take a Ruby Gun. Still want trade? Okay. Fang, Petal, Horn, Feather. I gotta look up the mechanic for this. 3 of each. Okay, bring 3 of each. Any 2 items, I will give you 1 weapon or 1 item. Okay, so we just did, what was that? Petal and Fang? So what happens when we do Petal and Horn? Sage Bow. Yeah, I'll take that. No. Though let's look here. Hold on. Yeah, because she's got a Robin Bow. That is so much better. That is so much better. No, Average Blahaj, I can't have you on the stream, dude. I love you, man. I'm sure you're a nice person. I'm doing this, trust me, for your benefit. I know it feels like you're being excluded. Yes, you are currently being excluded, but I promise you it is for a good reason. It is for a very good reason. I don't have anything against you, okay? Bro, that is so strong. Ruby Gun, bro. That's sick. All right, so what did we just do? We just did... let's see. So we have Petal, Fang, Horn, and Feather. So we just... so Petal and Feather then, right? Petal and Feather. Stone Arm? I think that's for... Orca, I would debate you. You said, don't worry, Amender won't debate me either. My God. I would debate you. Uh, Amender will debate me. Y'all just suffer some heavy skill issues. Dang. Hopper says I'd master debate you hard. Absolutely. If anybody wants to raise their hand, they can. Otherwise, I'm going to keep playing Chrono Trigger. It does not bother me. Let's take a look here. So we've got, all right, I just did I do the petal and feather? Let's try that. Let's see what we get. Petal and feather. Petal, feather, stone arm. Okay, I don't want a stone arm because that's just for Robo, and I don't even think I need something for Robo. Anyway, fang and horn, right? Because flint edge, what is that? I'll take it, whatever. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a blade. Flint edge. Okay, so Chrono. That's a sick weapon. That's an amazing weapon. All right, so we got the flint edge. What else we got? So I believe we just did fang and horn. So I think if we should do fang and feather next. Whew! I think I need a lot of those. What was that? Fang and feather for the ruby vest? Is that what that was? It's not as good as my Mesomail. Okay, so it's okay. It's not like, yeah, let's go out grinding for this. Like, good. But let's probably make one more for Luca. So was that fang and feather, I think? Ruby vest, okay. And then the only thing that we need to do is horn and feather. Do we have enough feather? You have nothing. Okay. So I need to get at least one more feather. I need one more feather. So we got to go back down to the forest for a bit. Okay. Maggie says, I think Amender's game grab CK should be an Olympic sport. Are you saying Chrono Trigger should be an Olympic sport? What would that even look like? How would that even work? Doesn't make any sense. So I think we need the feather, right? Oh, he's saying grab cock. The problem is like when you're sitting there mentioning that over and over, it's got to come out naturally, man. It's got to come out naturally. Right, I'll tell you about the game later. All right, well that's cool. We can see that they're hitting a lot harder, which is nice, and they probably got a lot more defense now, so that's good. Hopper says, "You mean the badminton game?" Did Marl even get an upgraded weapon? That's probably what this final thing is. We're probably going to get the feather right here. So we were wandering around in here for a while. Nobody coming up wanting to debate. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, you know, it's only a matter of time. By the way, if you're just tuning in for the stream, it really helps me a lot if you have my YouTube channel up in the background. I mean, you can have it muted or whatever. It just helps with the overall analytics. That's all. My hot takes list. Hey, Hopper, can you check your DMs and just paste the what I sent you? Could you do me that? That's solid. If not, no big deal. I'll go ahead and do it. Did I get a feather? Did I get feathers? Where's the feather? Okay, no, I did not get a feather. What I need to get is a feather. At least one. So I can see what that final item was. It's probably the weapon for Marl. That would not surprise me. It's very British. What do you think about the Polish-Belarus border where they build literally a wall to keep all the refugees outside of Poland? Okay. I don't have anything to say about that. Hold on, I'm getting a DM. Hold on a sec. Let me kill that for a second. Just give me a moment. Yeah, that's it, Hopper. That's it. All you got to do is just paste that. Thank you. No, but not in our DMs. Not in our DMs. Wait, what just happened? Is the stage not running? Did I just lose the stage? Huh? Where was the stage? It just killed the stage because I opened somebody's DM? What? That is nuts, bro. Dude, that is crazy. It literally killed the entire stage. Holy crap. It actually just killed the entire stage. That is nuts. I cannot believe that just happened. I'm so sorry. Jesus, that just killed the entire stage. I opened up your DM, Hopper, and it was just like, all right, then bye. No stage. That is crazy. Okay, wow. I did not know that that was even remotely possible. Rook Spinnerd says, I was kicked. So I think so. Yes, Rook, you were in fact kicked. All I did was open up Hopper's DM and then I was immediately kicked. So I don't think I'm going to do that again. I think I am just going to just focus on my stream, okay, as opposed to looking at any DMs. I thought that wouldn't have been an issue. If you are sending me a DM, don't send me a DM. I'm not opening any DMs. Do it in chat. Do it in the YouTube chat. Do it in the Discord chat. You know, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Anyway, if you guys want to have a debate, all you got to do, raise your hand. And Hopper, if you could, paste that thing that I sent you, if that would be wonderful. Okay, so I got a petal. But I need a feather. So we're going to keep going. That is a lot of embeds. Why does it auto embed that? That's so annoying. All right, we got some more monsters here. I don't even know if I want to be in this particular area. Like, I just feel like it's kind of far away, like easily lost, I guess. It's okay, though. It's not the... So it says, what do I think about a wall that was built to keep out refugees? I don't think if people want to go there, then I think what's going to happen is people are going to go there, with or without a wall. Because there's a lot of ways that people are able to get in from one country to another. Also, isn't Poland a part of the EU? Am I wrong about that? I could almost be certain that it's a part of the EU. So how are they like stopping refugees from getting in? How does that work? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we've got Aura Whirl here. Okay. Did I get a feather? I didn't even look. Let's see here. Any feathers? Nope. Still no feather. Okay, maybe we'll go. I kind of don't want to be in this area. I think I'm gonna go more to the north because it's really easy to get lost in this place. So I'm just gonna avoid the problem entirely by getting out of here. Looks like Tuss would like to speak. This is our first, so let's go ahead and give a round of applause for Tuss. How you doing, Tuss? What's going on, homie?
You know what's going on. You know what I'm on.
What are you on, buddy?
I'm doing pretty shit, but I'm doing good.
Okay. Was there anything that you wanted to debate about?
Yeah, so abortion is acceptable for up to 20 weeks, but no more with
Yeah.
medical exceptions.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, how come the line is 20 weeks?
Yeah. So, like, the way that I consider something to have, like, moral, or I'm sorry, like, for me to consider it to be, a lot of people say, like, okay, here's where it's a human life. I don't think that's the case. I think that a human life exists at the point of conception, but the question isn't whether or not that the human life begins at conception. The question is whether or not that the human life is worthy of moral consideration. And so the thing that I like to think about is what is the thing that we morally consider to be I'm sorry. What is the thing that we would consider that to have consideration for their life? And the way that I've been able to suss that out was you could have, for example, a robot where you have if I took your brain and I transferred it to a robot, and now it just has like your husk of a body, and then it has you. It becomes very clear to me what I would care about more. What I would care about more would be you in the robot body, right? So it's not really like the body itself, but rather the conscious experience that you are exhibiting, right? And the same thing kind of happens when it comes to like brain dead patients, right? Are they consciously experiencing things and therefore worthy of consideration? And so I ask myself, okay, well, where is the point at where like a baby's brain has, the fetus's brain has developed to a point where it is now effectively having a conscious experience. Now, note that does not mean remembering. That does not mean being conscious. I'm simply saying like it is able to respond to external sense stimulus, right? That is what a conscious experience is. And so the point where I find that to be the case is where the spinal cord connects to the brain itself, which is roughly around 18 to 24 weeks. So to give a very nice concrete point, it's at 20 weeks. That's why I picked 20 weeks.
Yeah, so I have some issues with this. The first one is if we're just trying to be consistent within that point, wouldn't you have to, in order to be consistent, somehow measure the specific case in order to see if it has happened for the specific fetus for it to be consistent? Because if it can happen at 18 weeks, but you're fine with doing it at 20 weeks, there will still be people we would consider morally worthy falling like in under abortions, right?
I didn't follow. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, so you're saying that this thing typically happens between 18 and 24 weeks, right?
Yeah, where the spinal cord connects with the brain, allowing for a conscious experience to happen. Yes.
Yeah. But you're saying it's acceptable for up to 20 weeks.
Yes.
So that would mean that there will be cases where people in 20 weeks who have had this spinal cord connection to the brainstem, whatever, has happened.
I have that criteria because it's you have like it's not perfectly exact, right? It's not like okay, 19 weeks is not connected, 20 weeks it is connected. It's more of
Yeah.
like understanding like kind of how arbitrary that we're kind of putting it in, and so I just gave that range. Typically speaking, it is not connected until roughly 20 to 24 weeks.
Yeah, so there seems to be something else playing a part in this that would make it so that we would like to have a certain threshold. Because if it was just based on solely that fact, the measurement would be we can determine if this has happened or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I gave you my criteria. I feel like it's a pretty solid criteria.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
lost as
understand.
to why that's an issue, though.
Yeah, because you have one criteria, but your solution doesn't necessarily meet your own criteria at all times.
Yeah, it does.
Well, no, because your criteria is so you consider them like moral considerable. I don't know if we want to say people or whatever, but morally considerable individuals or whatever at when the brainstem has connected to the spine, and this can happen between 18 and 24 weeks typically. But since the threshold is 20 weeks, there will be cases where your criteria of this connection happening will not be within
It generally
the threshold.
doesn't happen at 18 weeks.
Yeah, but it can happen, right?
I mean, I suppose so. But like again,
Yeah, and it
you're
can happen at
attributing like
19.
a rarity as opposed to like you have to have like a point where it's acceptable, right?
Well, so this is why I kind of think that like weeks are stupid.
But it's just where we determine 7 days have passed. What's your big?
Yeah,
What's
no,
the big deal?
I did not mean the measurement of time. I meant like setting a weekly a number of weeks limit for abortions.
Well,
It feels like
what are you proposing?
uh, I'm not sure I have a threshold, to be honest. I think all abortions are equally good.
Um,
But I'm coming
all
from bodily
abortions?
autonomy. Yeah.
Every single
But
one?
yep.
I mean, like I think like my only like thought is I'm like thinking about like is there ever an instance where an abortion is not okay? Um,
I I would say that like abortions.
I mean, like if somebody's like
The
getting them all the time, it's kind of weird, right?
Well, so if just like it would be
Mind
have
you,
to
I'm
be
very
like some kind
pro-abortion.
of
Just
yeah,
FYI,
yeah, I know, I know,
I want
I
my
know, I know.
I don't know. I'm just trying to like I'll play like your little devil's advocate you got here for me.
Nothing was going on. I'm drunk. This is what we do.
Okay.
So yeah, but so the thing is like I'm working from a bodily autonomy argument. Like I do believe that you have the autonomy to get rid of the fetus at any point. However, there would be like, of course, considerations where like circumstances and intent would matter. Like if you are solely doing it because you are getting like sexual pleasure from getting an abortion the day before you're giving birth, probably not good. Probably not something I would endorse.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, not a good thing, right?
Who does that?
No, I don't say. I'm not saying it happens. I'm just saying like it's some extreme like example where I would not consider it good. But that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think this whole like using it as some kind of what do you call it? Like sexual protection. What do you call it? Contraception. I don't believe like abortion as a contraception is really a thing. I haven't really seen any evidence of people using abortion as a
I mean,
contraception.
that's an incredibly invasive like way to use a contraceptive. I mean, why not just like get your morning after pill or a
Yeah,
condom? Like that's
yeah,
not.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, why would we even have this like 20 weeks kind of thing if we have the bodily autonomy to do so regardless?
Well, because like what I consider to be important is going to be a person's conscious experience.
Yeah, but do you know the violinist argument?
Is this the one where they're like physically attached to one another or something?
Yeah, exactly. So you're attached to like some famous violinist, and you can detach yourself, but if you do, the violinist will die. They have a
Okay.
conscious experience. Would it be wrong for you to detach yourself from them?
Uh, like if they had a conscious experience,
Yeah, they have a conscious experience, and they are like dependent on
how
your
did they get
organs.
it? How did they get hooked up to you?
Uh, well, so based on how you phrase this hot take, it shouldn't matter because you only included medical reasons. You haven't included like any non-consensual reasons for the like pregnancy.
Okay. Um, I mean,
So it-
I think I
through
get you
consent,
where you're
so-
saying that like yeah, they don't have a right to the autonomy of another person, but I don't know. It just gets into like some weird like kind of libertarian waters. So I just don't really have that kind of an argument.
If you're calling me a libertarian again, I will fuck you up.
I'm not calling you a libertarian.
Sorry.
I'm saying it goes into libertarian territory. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm trying to say?
Not really.
Yeah, it is. It's
I-
very much a Lockean kind of a like basis. Are you aware that that's like a very like Lockean standpoint to talk about like a person's bodily autonomy and that you can't violate the bodily autonomy of others? That comes straight from John Locke, which is
Well-
like about as libertarian as it gets.
Well, I've read Locke, yes, but my arguments are not coming from any libertarian. No.
Well, he himself wasn't a libertarian; he was a classical liberal, but
Yeah, but that is also
libertarians
like
love
the
Locke.
foundation.
They love
Yeah,
they
I
love
know.
Locke. They can't get enough Locke.
Unfortunately, I know. I don't really like Locke though. At
Okay.
all. Yeah, but regardless, like, so would you reject the bodily autonomy to detach yourself from someone if they are if their life is dependent on being attached to you?
I mean, there's probably an argument to be made that you really can't just detach them, like, because you're going to kill them. Like, what if there's like
So-
conjoined twins and it's like, I don't know, what if like one of them starts fighting with the other and saying, you don't have a right to my resources? And then like the Siamese, like smaller twin is just like, but if I'm not attached to you, I'll die. And then like I don't know, they just like rip it apart. No, I feel like conscious experience. No, my argument is perfect. It's actually great. Wait, it's actually perfect. Yeah, no, it fits perfectly. Yeah, you got conjoined twins. One twin can't just rip off the other twin because what they're doing is that they are removing a person's ability to survive when they are having a conscious experience. Yeah, easy. Done. I just beat it.
Well,
There. Beat your argument.
Hold my beer. So the thing is, conjoined twins isn't like the whole point of conjoined twins that are actually like sharing bodily autonomy though.
No.
Where
No.
does one
One
start
of them
and
is
one end?
smaller, and one of them needs the other to survive.
Well, then you would also have to make an argument that I would have to accept that they are two different people who are conjoined.
Yeah,
which
they
I
have two
don't know.
different brains, and they have arguments and stuff. Like they're just like,
Yeah, but
he's
if we
just
put
like,
two brains into
hey,
the same
pass me
body,
some of that food.
but if we put two brains into the same body, the two brains would share the bodily autonomy. Right?
I think this guy's a philosophy major, don't you? I do. I really do think he's a philosophy major. How did you know? Bro, I've read. I think I've seen enough of philosophy creatures.
I do like you, Amender. You know, but for real, if a brain, if we had a body, we had an empty husk, and we added 2 brains to that body, would one brain have the bodily autonomy and one wouldn't?
How?
Science, bitch!
It's literally not, like, no matter what you do, I don't even think that's physically possible.
Elon Musk!
Bro, whatever. You got any other argument? Come on. You got better than this.
So, this
Do you need me to operate in this fucking bizarro world hypothetical? Go ahead. I'll operate in your bizarro world hypothetical. Go for it.
Okay, 2 brains in one body. Which brain has bodily autonomy?
They both have bodily autonomy.
Okay, so if 2 brains share a body, they both have bodily autonomy.
2 brains, 1 body. They both share bodily autonomy. Yes.
Yeah, so I would argue that conjoined twins have a shared body.
Correct.
Yes, so they both have bodily autonomy.
Okay. So you can't just, like, remove them. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In this sense, yes, because then they would both have the bodily autonomy over the same body, which is not the case for an abortion because it's 2 different bodies.
Bodily autonomy they would not have bodily autonomy over the same body because it's different bodies. Yes, I'm giving the aspect of the conjoined twin not being super attached, but being like a smaller version that's all kind of like limpy and, off to the side.
1 + 1 is 2, but
Like,
2
dude,
is
if it was
still
fully
1.
conscious, I'd be like, yeah, don't, like, okay, well, first of all, I'd be like, imagine we did like an x-ray and then it's like, bro, you're sharing a lung with this thing. Like, bro, you can't, like, you'll be fine, but this dude's going to die if I think you would actually have a moral obligation to not.
So, again, in a case where it's a shared body, because I would consider a conjoined twin one body.
It's not a shared body. I got done explaining that.
But did you hear what I said? I would consider a conjoined twin one shared body. It just has more parts than the typical body.
Yeah, I'm not following you at this point. I feel like I made the argument. I feel like it's there.
Yeah, and I'm explaining why I disagree with it.
Okay. Why is it again?
So your argument was that of course we would have some kind of moral reason or moral pressure or obligation to not detach ourselves because consider conjoined twins.
Because they are having a conscious experience. You've added the fact that they have a conscious experience, and so I'm giving it a moral consideration to its existence.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm discussing specifically the conjoined twins.
Yes. So in your hypothetical of the conjoined twin, because the other twin has conscious experience, you have a moral obligation to maintain that.
So if you were attached to the violinist, you would just accept that you would be stuck in a bed attached to a violinist for the rest of your life because they have a conscious experience, and you would lose every single piece of bodily autonomy because this happened.
I guess so. Sure. Yeah. Why not?
That's a bullet to bite.
It's a conscious experience. Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's what we care about.
Well, you talk for yourself, habibi. There's a lot of conscious experiences that suck.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
it's not up for you to decide. I think that's up for the person who's having the conscious experience to decide, not you.
Yeah, but I also have a conscious experience, and if my conscious experience is restricted to the bed because I'm stuck to this violinist, then my conscious experience is being affected as well, right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of how social contracts work. You kind of do get affected by keep maintaining the autonomy of other people. Yeah.
Well, usually it is that like, yeah, I can't punch you in the face. Not that I'm forced to stay in this bed being attached to you. There's kind of different levels to it.
Like the problem is like there's got to be a way around like that. Like you think that like the doctor would just be like, yeah, no way, it's impossible. Can't remove them. They got to stay in the bed forever. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like from a realistic standpoint, this would never happen, no matter what.
You need to read more philosophy. Realistic scenarios are fucking boring. The reason I use less than
Unrealistic,
realistic
impossible
scenarios
scenarios is because you're a philosophy major?
So the reason we use these hypothetical scenarios is to isolate the issue. Because we're talking about like what is the actual reason.
and like
yeah.
But and so my reason is the it still seems to be maintained. It's the same exact reason. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that like your conclusion in this scenario seems pretty stupid.
How's it stupid?
Because in order to preserve this conscious experience, we're reducing your own conscious experience to only being bedridden. So it's like not even the value of what a conscious experience can achieve. It's just the sole existence of it.
How do you feel about parents?
My parents or parents in general?
Yeah,
Or,
like, do you
what
think
do
like
mean?
parents should be conscripted to take care of their children?
Normatively, generally, yes.
Why? You're being stuck to like kind of work all the time and be constantly taking care of your kid and not having fun, and your life is completely conscripted now.
Well, under current system, working for like the ability to live seems to be the case.
Nope, you're not going to break this into a socialist argument. You are currently being debilitated by a child, and you had made the argument that, well, you're kind of stuck to this bed with this other person, so why can't you like exhibit that towards children, right? Why can't you abandon your kids?
Wait, so I definitely think
You don't
there
believe
are
it. You don't believe this.
Wait.
There's no way you believe this.
No way. So this is like such a false analogy because I'm just talking about
Really?
your bodily autonomy yourself. Yes. The right, what you do with your own body, what's attached to your body, what's living off your body, and you using your body to work. Not the same thing.
No,
but
that's not
however,
what I
if
said.
you're-
I'm saying you're taking care of kids.
Are they attached to your body?
No, but you're conscripted. You're conscripted to be there, and you're conscripted to use your resources on this person that is unreasoning. And let's be honest, they're kind of dumb. Kids are dumb. So why can't you just abandon the kid?
Maybe you should. Fuck kids. Stupid. They're in the way. They smell bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I know you don't actually believe that.
You know, so I do believe they smell bad. Holy shit. No, so what I'm saying is like generally, yes, it's good for parents to take care of their kids, but that's like what you're saying. But like, is there a
Person says you
like,
can surrender your
metaphysical-
children
is
though.
there a
Adoption, safe
metaphysic-
drop
is
location.
there-
Yeah, again, you're still conscripted to do that. My argument still stands.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
That's
you
not
are.
what I'm
You're
saying,
conscripted.
though.
You can't just abandon
No.
your kids. You can actually get child neglect, right? If you're the
That's a
custodian
legal
of the
argument.
child and you decide to abandon the child because I don't know you're bored or whatever, then yeah, that would be not
actually-
acceptable.
Actually, that's conflating legality with morality fallacy.
It's not a fallacy. Also, I
It is.
understand the
Oh, wait,
difference
what?
between
That's
legality
definitely a
and morality.
fallacy. Maybe that's a fallacy.
It's not a fallacy. Where did you get that?
Conflating morality with legality, yes.
What's it called?
Conflating morality with legality. Or appeal to legality.
Fallacy to conflate legality with morality. you understand that like this is an appeal to legality.
Yes. So appeal to legality is saying that something is right or wrong because it is legal or not legal.
Okay, but you understand that it's like I feel like I'm like, hey, this is morally wrong. Like intuitively, it's morally wrong to abandon your kids because you feel like it. And on top of that, legally, you'd get in a lot of trouble. So like,
Yeah, but
I don't require the legality to be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's that. So I don't know what your point is.
yeah. So the reason bringing up laws are dumb because when we're trying to like say what should be legal or not, we're like talking morality. So we will still use morality to determine laws, not the other way around.
I understand that. I literally was talking about the morality of it. You're not going to do this to me.
No, but you said like, yeah, but you'll be hit with child neglect, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't matter.
You would.
Yeah, but that doesn't address if that's
Fine.
good or
That
bad.
still doesn't. Yeah, wait, but it. Please tell me you think it's bad, right? I don't need to sit there and have to like reason with you syllogistically why it's bad to abandon your kids. Are you serious?
I already said.
Okay, so then we
generally you
already
shouldn't
know.
do
We
that.
already know. We don't have to go over that.
Well, yeah, generally you shouldn't abandon kids, but that's also like
I'm saying
if
you don't believe that because you don't.
if you're expecting some like grand moral truth, like no, that I don't believe there's like some moral law that there is like always completely wrong to abandon children or something.
I gotta tell you, bro. This is the weirdest abortion debate I've ever had.
What the fuck do you expect from me?
I don't know.
I just want you to abort 40-week-olds. That's all I'm saying. No, but like I already felt like you bit the bullet. You would be attached to someone for life, which is like I feel it's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't worry. I'd fight every step of the way. Like, how do we get this person off me? I didn't consent to this. Also, doctor, why did you physically attach me? Like, I understand it's not for the sake of the hypothetical, but like just from like an intuitive sense, like none of this works in reality. But
they're using your kidneys or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
as opposed to like a dialysis machine. What's the machine that's like a kidney? It's like an actual kidney. It does the function of a kidney. Dialysis machine.
It broke.
Someone correct me if I'm wrong with that. It's fine.
It broke.
It's broken. So they they were like, yeah, there are no other hospitals nearby. This is impossible. We need to get this person on another human.
Antarctica snowstorm.
Yeah, literally makes no sense. Just doesn't make any sense, bro. Just kill both of us. Just kill both of us. Fuck
See,
it.
base. Super
Stupid.
abortion. I mean, there was no conversation going on. I'm trying to do something, buddy.
Well, you got anything else for me, homie?
No,
If not, we'll
I
have to
got-
bring in some other. We'll have to see who else wants to get into a debate.
I hope I got you some content. Take care, buddy.
Cool, bro. See you, bro.
See ya.
And that was Tuss. They've been in a couple of my videos. They're kind of cool. They're pretty cool. I like them. If anybody wants to get into a debate or a particular video, we can do that. If not, I'm going to be grinding out some horns in Chrono Trigger. I need to get a bow. And the way that you get a bow is I need 3 horns right now. So that's what I'm doing. I also don't know where to go after this. Rook says, I'm convinced W Tuss. Nice. Great work. Great work, Tuss. 9 tech points. I got a fang. Luca learns protect. Okay, I still need a horn, bro. This is cringe. This is very cringe. I need a horn. Let me see. I'm going to pull out the shelter. Shelter, good. And Quinny says, what is your opinion on Kamala? Kamala is amazing. I love Kamala. The more I dig into her, the more I love her. Because everything that they kind of argue is very, very similar to what I end up arguing. I read her book. She's crushing it. I think she's doing it. She's doing a very good job. And so I think that we should definitely elect Kamala because she is actually a real leader, and Donald Trump is a petulant child. Yes, that's what I think. Anybody disagree with that? Everybody in agreement? Bufo says, "What's your best pickup line?" I don't have one. I don't really like going out and doing that whole thing. I'm 35, man. I got to tell you, I'm so done with just like trying to pick people up. Like, I'm done with it. I don't want to deal with it. It's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. It costs money, and I just, and at the end of the day, it's really not something I'm really looking for. So I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not the person to ask about like relationship advice. I'm just, I don't know. It's just not. Hopper called me a beta. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Beta. Oh, another thought. On Saturday, I'm going to see if I can take the time to edit a full video of I put myself through a single Matt Walsh video. And I was like, wow, that was horrible. That was one of the worst takes ever. It's got like 50,000 views, like on this particular video. And I'm just like, how are this many people like into this? Like, it just doesn't make... Anyway, so what I'm going to do is, no, we can't abort Matt Walsh, Tuss. I don't like Matt Walsh as much as you, but Average Blahaj owner would like to speak. I'm not, again, I've told you why I can't let you speak. I've already told you why. You know why, right? There's no reason to bring up your hand. I'm not going to let you up. You're too young. You're 16. It's not cool that I farm you for content. All right? I need you to be a fully reasoning individual. What was I saying? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? First Amender's my beta. Thank you, Hopper. It's very nice of you. I'm trying to get horns. Having a hard time. Unironically having a hard time finding horns. Let's get some firewalls going. I mean, there's just like a lot of enemies, and we really just don't need that in our life. Oh, wait, we got Lightning 2 now? Oh, freaking sick. Guys, I gotta show you what Lightning 2 looks like. God, it's so sick. I'm gonna show it to you in a second. It's amazing. It's amazing. It costs a lot of mana, though. We'll see. I'll show you. Tuss says, can we attach harmonica player to him at least? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. All right. I'm going to show you. Lightning 2. Oh my god, it's such a good move. It's such a cool move. I think everything's going to die from Lightning 2. Watch. Here it comes. Do it. Do it. Do the move. Oh, sick. Oh, this game's awesome, bro. That only dealt 52 damage. Why did that only deal 52 damage? Also, Chrono's almost dead. Do I have like a mid tonic for Chrono? Here we go. Mid tonic. I'm amazed, honestly, people are scared to debate. They don't want to get into the ring. They don't want to get into the ring. I'm trying to get people into the ring. We got a Bufo that would like to speak. All right, Bufo. Bufo coming up. Brave.
Hi. Yeah, I heard you said nobody wanted to come into the ring, so I felt like I have to. I don't know how to say that. Yeah. Okay. Have you? Okay. Can I? So, sorry. Okay. So basically, do you think that privacy is more important than the nation's security?
Do I think that what is more important than nation
Do
security?
you
You said
think?
privacy?
Do you think? Is more important than the nation's security. What do you want to hear? What I mean by that?
Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, right? Do you think that the state should what do you think should be prioritized? The state's I wanted to spy on you, like a weaker word for I'm sorry, I'm so bad at English. Okay, sorry. So basically, what do you think should be prioritized? People's privacy or the nation's security? Should the state be more allowed to like supervise the people, or should their privacy be like prioritized? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it does. Like for example, the Patriot Act that happened. I'm not exhibiting any instance where like, I mean, I guess like the problem is like it's kind of hard to tell whether or not it's actually like helping or not helping. But currently, like I'm not a big fan of the Patriot Act. I'm not so sure if it's actually as good as some people say it could be. It's pretty much universally not liked at all, but I don't know, maybe somebody could convince me out of that and like the reason why that the Patriot Act is so good, and whether or not it has actually worked. There could be like an argument to be made that like the effectiveness is good enough. But I would imagine if the effectiveness is not good enough, then no.
Great, I feel satisfied with the answer. Thank you for letting me speak, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. Was that it? That's all you wanted to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you have a chance to go through my hot takes list?
Wait, what?
You should go through my hot takes list.
Oh, okay. Can I speak again after? Do you have like a limited?
Sure, I always recommend go through the hot takes list if there's something you can find something you disagree with.
Okay, then I will step down from the podium.
Sounds good, Bufo. Good talk.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, yes. So what was I... Yes, I remember now. I was talking about... I watched the Matt Walsh video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full edited video on Saturday, and I'm going to see what I can do about releasing it that same day. No promises, but I'm going to try. Okay? I have the script written. All I got to do is grab the video, and then I'll do all the edits. Anyway, looks like we got a Quinny that would like to speak. Tuss says Amender is probably the strongest pro-trans debater on this server. Bro, thank you, man. That means a lot. Holy crap. Hi, Quinny. How you doing? What in the world just happened? Quinny, you are invited to speak.
Yeah, sorry. I pressed, there was a button next to the unmute button, and I tried to press unmute, and then I pressed step down.
Mm-hmm. How you doing, Quinny?
Yeah. I'm doing great. So I wanted to talk to you about objective morality.
Sure.
So do you believe in an objective morality? Or like, what do you define objective morality to be?
No, there is no objective morality. It's impossible.
Okay, well, how do you define objective morality?
Well, the term objective, basically what objective means is that it is not up for humans to offer interpretation. It is what it is.
Okay. So would you say that it's like mind independent?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you believe that there is no morality independent of the mind.
Correct.
Okay.
Like if all humans died, as in there are now no minds, what action could possibly be there that would be like a horrific action? Like I can imagine, like, I don't know, maybe like the radical consumption of energy at giant astronomical portions. Would that be considered as immoral? Like, do you look at like a black hole consuming an entire sun and say that is immoral? Probably not,
so,
right?
well,
I don't
well,
think that neither of those entities are consciously aware.
I wanna like focus on like what you think rather than my opinion. It is your channel after all. So like, I guess like from a philosophical stance, right? I would ask you, would murder be wrong or an unjustified killing be wrong, absentee of someone's society or personal beliefs on the subject?
It's already baked into the definition that it's wrong.
Okay, so let's be more articulate, right? So if I see a baby and the baby looks at me wrong, so I pick up a lead pipe and in a video game beat its skull in, would that be wrong independent of my beliefs or society?
Well, I mean, in most situations it'd be wrong, but I'm
What
like
does that
trying
mean?
to think of a situation where that wouldn't be wrong. Like, I don't know, is it in like horrific writhing pain and it's not going to get any better?
No, this is
And
like
the
the
end-
entire
the goal is
context
to
is what
like,
I did.
huh? Yeah. So like, I mean, to me, in my subjective opinion, it's wrong. Yes.
Well, I'm asking you, is it wrong independent of what a person or society feels on the subject?
Well, if there were no minds, then no, there's nothing
Well,
to
that's not what I
interpret it
asked.
being right or wrong.
That's not what I asked. I asked, is it wrong independent of what an individual or society feels on the subject?
No.
No?
No.
So it is only wrong because an individual or society deems it to be wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So if I pick up like a lead pipe and I, in a video game, smash your skull in, and I think that that's an acceptable thing for me to do, does that make it so?
No.
No. Okay. So it's the society that makes it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So in ye ancient Greek society, they practiced many things that I'm certain we would agree are morally wrong, like
Yes.
pedophilia, for example. But a better one is like, it would be okay for someone to just like kill another person on the road because they felt like it.
Yes.
That was acceptable in ancient Greece. So does that make it morally okay to do that?
In Greek society, yes.
Well, no, but in your opinion,
No.
is it
it's
okay? to
wrong
do
in
that?
my opinion.
No? Okay, so why not?
Why is it wrong?
Yeah.
Because I believe that like morality stems from survival, and the way it is not just an aspect of being able to survive, but actually being able to thrive and survive. And the way that people thrive is that they can achieve the things that they find valuable. Like having access to being able to do those things are really important. And if you're going around just like, I don't know, killing people, or because you just feel like it, you just removed the person's ability of those internal values to experience them.
So you believe that like walking up and killing a random for no particularly good reason is wrong independent of what an individual or society deems to be the case?
No.
Wait, but you just told me that it was wrong because it like harms their capacity to survive and thrive. That's
Yes.
like, that statement is true regardless of what you think or I think or what society thinks.
No, it
Like,
it
it
has a lot to
objectively-
do with what society thinks.
Wait, so if society thinks that me walking up and murdering a random on the street in a video game, if it thinks that increases their ability to thrive, does that make it so?
In some societies, yes.
Wait, so does a dead person have an increased capacity to thrive?
No, they're dead.
No. Okay, so if I walk up and murder a person on the side of the street, they do not have an increased capacity to thrive and survive.
No, but they were alive, and then you made them dead.
Yeah, so we
you
would
asked
say
me
that
about a
that
dead
acts
person, not a person who was
radically-
alive and then dead.
Yeah. So if I walked up and I killed a person on the side of the street, right, that would radically decrease their ability to survive and thrive, right?
Can you repeat that question?
So if I walked up and killed someone on the side of the street, that would decrease that person's ability to survive and thrive, correct?
That's correct, as well as other people who enjoy their existence.
Okay, great. And it would decrease their ability to thrive and survive regardless of what me, that person, or the society or the larger society believes on the issue.
Repeat that.
So it would decrease their ability to thrive and survive regardless of what me, the other person, or the larger society believes to be true.
No.
No?
Sometimes
So
society will deem that as right.
Wait, no, but that's not what
It's
I
like
asked.
morally acceptable. Like for
you.
Because you're swapping between what I believe and then like what society ends up believing or what you believe. You're treating them interchangeably,
society.
but the answers
I'm
are
asking
different
you.
under those bases. Yeah.
Well,
So
no,
I
I'm
gave
not-
you my basis, and then you
Yes.
swap that over to society, and I'm
no,
telling you that's
that's
not how
not-
that works.
No, what I asked you, Amender, is so you stated that this decreases. We agreed that murdering someone on the side of the street decreases their ability to thrive and survive. So I'm asking you if it decreases their ability to survive and thrive. Is that decrease dependent on society or my feelings or the person who's dying's feelings?
It's on the person who's dying as well as people who enjoy that person's existence. Because like some of those things of like them thriving is that the person exists, right? So like we want to live in a society where people can't just carte blanche kill people.
Wait, so would you say that like their fifis changes how much their ability to thrive and survive is
Their
decreased?
Fifis
Like, does their fifis
changes based on what?
So does their fifis affect their degree to thrive and survive if I murder them?
I'm not understanding your question.
Okay, so if I murder someone, right, on the side of the street,
Okay.
does their feelings on me murdering them, in any way affect their ability to thrive and survive?
Like how they feel about being killed by you?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It does?
Yeah,
So,
it comes into consideration, sure.
So if I walk up and I murder someone, then their feelings on whether or not their feelings on me murdering them impacts their ability to survive.
Remove the term murder because murder just means the unjustified killing.
Well, yeah, but like no,
And
because
the question is whether or not this particular killing is considered just.
Well, no, that's not at all what I asked. What I
I'm
asked
saying you're
is
baking into the definition that it's wrong.
wait. So if I walked up and I killed someone on the side of the road because I thought they looked at me wrong, does their feelings on that, right?
Yes.
On that change
Yes.
whether or not
Yes.
it impacts their ability to survive?
Yes.
Okay. So you're telling me that if someone wanted me to kill them, then that impacts their ability to not die when I kill
If somebody wanted you to kill them, that would determine whether or not it could be considered justifiable, and therefore a person's feelings is taken into account.
Justifiable. That wasn't my question. My issue, Amender, is that you told me that like me murdering a baby because it looked at me wrong, and for that reason and that reason alone, is bad.
I mean, in some societies, they have considered killing babies, and it has been good in their society, right?
I'm not asking you in their society.
I mean, mind you, I don't agree with that, right? I think it's wrong, right? Because we live in like the 21st century, and we have 21st century morals and a lot of stuff backing up and making our morality more concrete. But it really does come down, quite heavily into like how people feel about it. But like, I mean, even though I possess like this arbitrary standard, I think it's like, it's about as close that you can get to something being objective and moral, and it makes sense.
Okay, so
Though
there's
it's
a
not
few things
objective.
there, right? So there's a few things there, right? So you gave me the standard of which something is immoral or not, right? And that standard to you was that it not only decreases someone's ability to survive, but also decreases their ability to thrive. And that was your standard.
Uh-huh.
And my question was, does their opinion on me murdering someone, the person who I'm murdering, does the victim's opinion change me murdering them's effect on that scale? Like, does
I already
it make
answered
them
this
more
question.
capable
I
of
said,
surviving?
yeah, it does matter. It matters
Wait,
what
but
the
does it-
person thinks. Yes.
Sure, it might matter, right? That's not what I'm saying. I asked you, does it affect their ability to survive and thrive? Does their feelings on me murdering them affect that specific thing?
I don't like that you keep using the word murder here. Like you're
Well,
baking into the fact that it's
Does
already
it
wrong.
wait? So it doesn't matter whether or not if it's justified or unjustified, because I'm not asking you is it justified or unjustified. I'm
Yes, you
asking
are.
you. No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you because you stated that like killing a baby because it looked at me wrong is bad because it infringes on their ability to survive and thrive. So I'm asking you, if I murder a random guy on the street, does their feelings on me murdering them
I already
affect
answered
their
this.
ability to
Yes.
survive and thrive? How?
This is now
How
the
does their
fourth
feelings on-
time. Because the person
How?
could feel like that, I don't know, maybe they're like they're like stage 4 cancer and they're in a lot of pain and they're like, bro, just kill me. And I'd be like, all right, I need to get an affidavit, make sure this is legal. But assuming it's legal, yeah, dude, yeah, why not? Let's help them. Help them.
Okay,
need it.
so it's like euthanasia, which like is different.
What? No.
If it's just like some
No,
guy
it's
on the
literally
street,
the same thing. The point is I'm giving like very specific criteria where it would be acceptable for you to kill
Yes.
somebody where like their feelings are taken into account.
No, that's fine. That's great. I agree with that, right? My thing here is what I ask is it's just some guy, not terminally sick. He's perfectly
Well, I would
fine,
consider
and I
it wrong.
murder him in an unjustified way.
Yeah, I would
right?
consider that wrong.
You told me, yes, great. So you told me the reason why that's wrong is because it damages their ability to survive and thrive, right? That's the reason why it's wrong.
Yes.
Okay, does their feelings on me murdering them actually matter when it comes to their ability to survive and thrive in that scenario?
No.
No. Okay, great. Does society's feelings on whether or not it impacts their ability to survive and thrive impact their ability to survive and thrive in that scenario?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
How so?
Because if society wasn't there, like it would be hard to say whether or not that the action would be moral or immoral.
Like, that's not what I asked.
Well, then that means it's up to like society would be taken into consideration.
Wait, but that is again not what I asked.
I'm giving you a hypothetical scenario where what you asked is possible.
Wait, so I asked you, I go up and I murder some guy, right? And we agree that it is bad because it negatively impacts their ability to survive and thrive. Does what society feels about that murder
Why are you still going in circles on this? I feel like I answered it pretty directly.
No, you didn't, right? Because what you said is
By
if
your
society
metric.
wasn't there, it would
By
be
your
difficult
subjective
to measure
metric, I did
whether
not
or not
answer
it
it
impacted
to
them,
your
which
satisfaction.
might be true.
Yeah, bro.
Right, 'cause
Get me out of the logic tree.
Okay, so Amender, what you told me is that if society wasn't there, it might be difficult to measure whether or not it actually impacted his ability to survive and thrive.
For sure.
And maybe that's true, right? But that doesn't actually tell me whether or not society determines if it affected his ability to thrive and survive.
It's a factor. It's absolutely a factor. It's not the
Okay,
whole
so
thing,
if we
but
have
it's a factor.
if we have two people who don't live in a society at all, there's no society, and one of them murders the other one, would we say that his ability to thrive and survive was not impacted?
I'm sure that they would be impacted. Like, yeah, it would be impacted.
Okay, so it's
in a negative way.
impacted regardless of what society or the
According to
individual thinks.
no. It's impacted negatively based on my moral interpretation. Do you understand?
Yeah, great. That's what I'm asking you. Is
Yes,
your
it's a
your
subjective
understanding.
moral interpretation.
Wait. Okay. Sure. That's great. Right.
Okay, so what's the problem?
You agree with me that
You understand if something, by the way, just to be clear, right? You understand that, like, if something is moral, or I'm sorry, if something is subjective, that doesn't mean it doesn't matter, right? Things do matter that are
no,
subjective all the
I
time.
agree, right?
All right, cool.
So, but what I'm trying to get at here is you have now agreed with me that the murder negatively impacts their ability to survive and thrive.
Stop saying murder. The killing.
The killing impacts their ability to survive and thrive, independent of what the victim, the criminal,
Their killing
or what society
impacts
thinks.
their ability to survive and thrive. What?
Well, if I randomly kill a person on the street, we agree that
it impacts their ability to
it
survive
negatively
and thrive. Okay?
impacts the person's to survive and thrive, independent of what me, the criminal, or society thinks, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we agree on
No. Dude, it's based on my moral interpretation. The survive and thrive thing, that's my moral interpretation.
That's great.
Right? So based on my moral interpretation, yes. But if I was not there, I would not be there to communicate that it is right or wrong, nor would I be there to postulate an idea of like a moral system. And so,
Sure, maybe.
It would be like a societal thing. It really is.
Wait, so, okay.
I'm saying like how I derive my own morality.
So the framework that you gave me stated that X action is wrong because it violates Y thing.
Yep.
And then we agreed that it would violate Y thing regardless of what me, you, the victim, the criminal, or the larger society believes. It still violates Y thing. So what you have given me is a moral framework, although your subjective interpretation of a moral framework that would be, if it is correct, objectively true.
No.
In the sense that it is true regardless
that's the
of
part
what
where
our
it disconnects.
minds think
It's
about
not
it.
objective. It's up to my interpretation.
Sure.
Because it is up to my interpretation to the moral system. That means, by definition, it is subjective. I think the reason why people are so stuck on the idea of something subjective versus objective, and they really want morality itself to be objective, is because they don't want the moral system to be arbitrary. It makes them uncomfortable. It makes people uncomfortable to know that their moral system is arbitrary. That's correct. It is. However, arbitrariness or subjectivity to morality doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Right? That's not what that is. It just means it's
I never said
subject
that if it's
to
subjective,
change.
it doesn't matter.
Right? That's basically all that means.
Said that.
I know
so
you didn't
it's
say that. I'm saying
subjective.
that's why people are really do you believe in objective morality then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so
you think, but we're focusing on what you believe here, right?
No. I let you sit there and question me for the past 30 minutes. Now it's your turn,
It has
Quiddy.
not been
Now
30
it's your turn, Quiddy.
Yeah,
So you believe in objective morality, yes?
100%.
Where do you base your moral systems off of?
My subjective interpretation of the objective morality.
I won the debate.
So, like,
it's over.
what we
that
could
took
say
one
is,
fucking
like-
second. That was
So,
like a
what we
5-second
could say-
kill.
So what we could say is, I feel like what you would be saying
Quiddy!
is that literally everything is
Quiddy!
subjective. So,
Quiddy, you
Amender.
literally just lost the debate
Amender, give me 15 seconds, please.
in 5
So-
seconds.
So, if you believe that,
Quiddy!
then what you're telling me is that there is an objective
Stop!
morality. We just
Stop!
don't know it.
Stop. You don't know
So,
what.
Amender.
If you think that your answer, if you believe that your answer that you just gave me is objective morality, you do not know what objective morality is supposed to be.
I believe that there is an objective morality. Just that it may be
I'm
impossible
asking,
for any of us to ever know it.
where do you get your objective morality from? And your answer to that was
Oh,
my
naturalism.
subjective interpretation, which
you're
means
asking
it's
me-
subjective.
If you're asking me where I base my axiomatic values, I would say it's naturalism. I believe humans evolved to have certain innate experiences that are universally true amongst all humans, and that the fulfillment of those experiences is a moral good thing. But what you told me is that if we could like refocus on you, what you told me is that the morality is subjective because it is simply just your perception of the morality, right? Do I have that correct?
Can you repeat that?
So you told me that the morality is subjective because it's your interpretation / perception of morality.
That's correct.
Okay. So
That's
my
where all
issue
morals
with
come
that
from.
perspective
But let me just
is that would
let me
mean
stop you.
everything is subjective.
Let me stop you
Because,
for a
like,
second.
if
Let
I
me
have-
stop,
if I have, like-
Quinny, stop, pause. If you're basing your morality off of your subjective interpretation, that means your morality is not objective, it's subjective.
Oh yeah, but like I believe that there is an objective morality out there. There's a concrete and
I'm
then
gonna
the
feed you,
perceived.
baby bird, because I
where-
thought the
so, like-
same exact thing, right? Because I noticed that there seemed to be societies, they came up with very similar rules, and it was regardless of what side of the Himalayas they were on or the ocean that they were on in time. It seemed to be roughly true, with exception of very few societies that are no longer alive anymore. There were some rules that seemed to be pretty ubiquitous, right? Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not steal. These are pretty ubiquitous across pretty much any culture. But here's why I think that's the case. I don't think it is because it is objective that that those rules exist. That I think what it is that we find ourselves in a world where it is Euclidean. Things need to go from point A to point B, and your body is like a furnace. It needs to be able to constantly receive resources in order to survive. And if you don't get those resources, you're dead. And because of these like physical limitations, societies have come up with very similar rules to solving these consistent problems. Does that make sense?
So I just kind of want to like focus on the statement that you had made that that morality is subjective because it's just your interpretation of these things, right? My issue with
Quinny,
that statement is that if I have,
I need you to get stuck on, because you think that objective morality is a thing, and I'm telling you how I pulled myself out of the idea of objective morality. I'm telling you that yes,
I was like
there exists to
explaining
be
my
some,
issue with your statement.
but
because
you're not
you had told
addressing.
me-
You're not addressing what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, I found that to be like as relevant as reading like the Wikipedia of cheese.
All right, let me try again. You seem to find similarity between cultures, right? In moral interpretations, right? Did Quinny just disconnect? Oh my God, Quinny.
Whoopsie, wrong button again. Okay, but no. So I don't believe that it's the case just because a lot of people believe it to be so. I think that could be evidence of a morality. But I don't think that alone proves it. Anyways.
Okay, so then wait, stop. Then what's your case for objective morality?
Naturalism. Again, I believe that humans evolved to have
you can't
specific
derive an
innate
is from an ought.
experiences.
What? Naturalism is just giving you an is. It's not giving you a moral system to work off of.
Oh,
and
yeah.
also
So,
the
like,
moral
I would
system
say
that
that
they're working
humans-
off, other people disagree with. And because because a lot of people, what they'll do is that they'll go to secular humanism if they're naturalists, and then they have their own moral interpretation. But because not everybody agrees with that, that would also still make it subjective.
So yeah, let's go back to that, right? The like agrees, perception, stuff. So
No.
you
Go back to
had-
the is and ought problem. You can't
so
derive an
I'll-
is
I'll
from an
address
ought.
that in just a second. So I do think that's like a compelling argument, the is ought thing. I'll have to think on that. But if we like address this like subjective like is interpretation thing, I don't see how you would think anything is objective if you think that something is subjective exclusively because
things
you're
that
interpreting
exist
it.
that are it doesn't matter if you are there to interpret it or not. It simply is that way.
Okay.
So take for example, the diameter of Jupiter would be a good example.
Okay, great. I love
we
this.
we can observe Jupiter has been there a lot longer than humans have been, right? We already know.
I
this.
agree.
And
I agree.
under that basis, right? Jupiter has maintained its size for a very, 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 very long time, right? And it's
so
and it's not.
Jupiter's size is constant regardless of whether or not you're there to perceive it. Correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so we agree that Jupiter's size remains constant regardless of whether or not you're there to perceive it. So I would then ask, you gave me this concrete morality where things are bad if they violate someone's ability to not only survive but thrive. Would we not say that things violate someone's ability to survive or thrive independent of whether or not you're there to perceive it?
This has nothing to do with my argument in that morality is subjective.
But wouldn't you agree? Like that's like moving the question away.
What
Wouldn't
is
you
subjectivity
agree?
to you, Quinny?
Wouldn't you agree that something
What is
can
subjectivity
violate a person's? I'll answer that after you answer my question. So wouldn't you agree that something violates a person's ability to survive and thrive independent of whether or not you're there to measure it?
According to my subjective interpretation, yes.
Okay, great. So we agree. So that is what the belief in an objective morality is. Is the belief that some things are wrong, regardless of whether or not you or society are there to perceive it. So you have agreed with me that that an unjustified killing is wrong, independent of whether or not you, independent of whether or not me, or independent of whether or not society believes it to be the case. It is wrong for the same reason constantly, regardless of what anyone believes. So that is an objective morality. You understand where I'm coming from there?
I'm just astonished that you can have this argument and you completely just ignored the fact that what we consider to be right and wrong there is predicated on my interpretation there. And you brought up,
well, yeah, so we
brought
would say
up
that
my
your
interpretation. Yeah. Which is subjective.
Sure. Yeah. But no, because like you gave me a bar.
How do you say
that bar
sure,
is an
yeah,
objective
and then go, but no?
Yes, but no.
You're
the
contradicting
issue is-
yourself, Quinny.
The issue is you gave me a bar to define whether or not something is
What is subjectivity? Quinny?
morally acceptable.
What is subjectivity? Stop.
It means it's mind dependent. Subjective means
I would
mind
look up
dependent,
what
and
what
objective
subjective
means
is, 'cause it's
mind
more than just that.
independent. So, well, I mean, if we were to go and look up what objective morality is, it's the belief in a mind independent morality. Which you have given me. Is you believe in a morality that is
means,
constantly true regardless of one's opinions.
Subjective means sorry, I had it here. Something subjective is based on personal opinions and feelings rather than on facts. Okay. I think, by the way, just so you know, a very good sniff test to determine something being objective is whether or not it can be measured. Really good way to do it. It's not perfect. I think I've had like very few scenarios where somebody can bring up something that is objective but cannot be measured. But generally speaking, if it can be measured, that's the objective thing. Whereas
so I definitely agree that's the scientific definition of objective versus subjective, but that's not the philosophical definition.
Yes,
so,
it is, Quinny.
So a subjective morality is
First
the
of all,
idea that moral judgments.
I'm not aware of any
the
science
definition of subjective morality versus objective morality. I'm literally reading
that is a
definition.
philosophical basis.
So
that's a philosophical question, not a
morality
scientific question.
So subjective morality is the idea that moral judgments are based on personal opinions, cultural norms, or individual feelings. In this view, what is considered right or wrong can vary from a person to person or culture to culture, and there is no absolute moral truths. Objective morality, on the other hand, asserts that universal moral principles that apply to everyone, regardless of individual beliefs, cultural or cultural practices. According to this view, certain actions are inherently right or wrong, independent of human opinions or perceptions. So you gave me a bar, in your opinion, what is morally right and wrong. And that bar is objective. That bar does not care what a person feels on the subject. It does not care what society feels on the subject. It is objective. It is a constant. And everything that does not
those
pass
rules that we just came up with, those rules that I came up with, what are those based on?
So yeah, they are based on your individual thoughts, right? But everything, to some extent, in philosophy is based on an individual thought.
No, the diameter of Jupiter doesn't care how you feel about that diameter. It is independent of you being there to observe it.
If I didn't have eyes, would I be able to measure the diameter of Jupiter?
Kinda.
No. If I don't have the ability to perceive Jupiter, I am unable to measure the diameter of Jupiter.
Okay.
Would I then say that the diameter
of Jupiter is 69,000 kilometers and you are not physically there to perceive it, is it still 69,000 kilometers?
I agree with you. It is.
So it's independent of your interpretation.
I agree, right?
Okay, but so that's objective. So when it comes to the specific rules that we're applying the moral system, when it comes to the specific rule, when you're applying a moral system, that comes down to your feelings, your personal opinion as to how things ought be. The fact that we're disagreeing on this already tells me it's subjective.
Well, I could disagree with you on how big the diameter of Jupiter is.
Yeah, but then we have to look at your measurements, and we'd have to look at my measurements. But no one fights on the diameter of Jupiter. We're just going to take that at face value.
But then what I would say is, you have given me a measurement of what is objectively moral and objectively immoral, because you told me that under this framework, when a Greek person would murder some guy on the road because he can, that's wrong. Independent of what he thought, independent of what society thought, or independent of what
for
you
example,
thought.
What if it was a Spartan and there was an Athenian in Spartan territory and then they lobbed their head off and then they were all like, yeah, that was awesome. Good job.
No, yeah, but I'm not asking you, do they think it is? I'm asking you, do you think it is?
On my subjective interpretation, yes, I think it's wrong. Yes.
So what you have given me is your understanding.
Is giving you the understanding that morality is subjective. There is no objective morality.
When we discuss from a
name a single objective rule. Name a single one.
When a philosopher says this is what an objective versus subjective morality is, what they're saying is that the Greek guy was morally in the right to go and take this action, because they believed themselves to be, or because society believed them to be. And that we have no place to say that we are more correct or less correct than them, because it's all up to interpretation. But I would say
Well,
no.
context matters.
We
but
are more
like,
correct. Than them.
context matters, but I mean that's beside
Okay.
the point. The point is
So-
that's still up to people's interpretation.
Were the Nazis correct in what they did?
What? Based on my interpretation, they did a horrible thing.
Okay. Are you right?
I mean, I think I make correct judgments. Why?
Okay, but do you think that this judgment is correct?
Yeah. Seems
On what
seems to
basis
follow.
can you say that?
Huh? I already gave it to you.
If
I gave you my
morality
moral
is
system.
nothing but one person's interpretation or another person's interpretation, there's no ability to measure this.
Bro,
It's not Jupiter.
is
We
amazing.
cannot measure.
I've read
whether
you
or
like a
not they
book.
did something morally
I've
right or
read you
wrong.
like a book. The reason why you care about this so much is because you don't like the idea that something is arbitrary. You want it to be objective because it makes you uncomfortable. That is literally what you're doing.
Well, no, because I believe that
you
there
are
was
doing
no
exactly
objective
that.
morality. Like, I believe that there was no objective morality like half a year ago, and then I read more. Amender, I read more. You know the
Alright,
thing you
send me
always
a
say
book.
to do.
Send me a
I
book.
read more.
Send me a book.
Is morality real?
Nope. Send
That's
me
a
a book.
fucking good
Send me
book
the
to
book
read.
you read. I already read Fluffy's book. I'm looking for another book.
That's not Fluffy's book. What?
What? No, Fluffy recommended me a book.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
not
I
the
read
same
their
book.
book. Okay, so send me
Yeah.
your book. What did you read?
Yeah, is morality real? That's what I read. Is morality real?
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Get my water.
Is morality real? Written by Paul Bloom in 2021.
All right, hold on.
Is morality real? Written by Paul
Hold on,
Bloom
no,
in
chill.
2021.
I'm getting it. Chill. Jesus.
I got it from my
Got a lot of
library.
Amazon credits. I got a lot of Audible credits. Hold on. So, is morality real? I don't have it in an Audible format. That sucks.
Oof.
Is Morality Real by Paul Bloom?
Yeah. Published in 2021. Basically, when a philosopher says that they believe
Where's
in an
this
objective
book?
morality, I don't know.
This
I
isn't
got
a
it from my
book.
library.
This isn't a
That
book.
is.
I'm literally I typed in "Is Morality Real" by Paul Bloom, and I'm not getting anything.
I don't know. I got it from my library.
Please give me the exact title.
That is the title. Is morality real? Question mark. By Paul Bloom.
Is morality? How about this, Paul Bloom? I swear to God, Quinny. Psych, Against Empathy, The Sweet Spot, Just Babies, How Pleasure Works. Yeah, I don't see a book called that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know.
All right, you got to tell me the
Basically,
name. You got to tell me
so-
the actual title, because
That is the fucking title. So
I literally am Googling it and I don't see it.
Amender, basically, when a philosopher
Is it
says
Against
that they
Empathy?
no, when a philosopher says that they believe in an objective versus subjective morality,
Is it Just Babies?
no.
The Origin of Good and Evil?
So when a philosopher says that they believe in an objective
Quinny, I'm
versus
giving you
subjective
homework.
morality,
You need to give me.
Well-
You need to give me what. You need to give me what exactly you read. Take a picture of the freaking book, and I will find the book.
to the library.
Go back to the library, take a picture, and send it to me.
Okay, but what a philosopher means when they say an objective versus subjective morality is they're not saying they have like all the truths to the universe, right? What they're saying is that there is out there
Yeah, it's usually a God argument. That's usually what happens. It's a God argument.
Good and
You
wrong is
understand?
determined entirely by society.
Hmm?
So if you believe that you are more correct than the Nazis were, then you cannot also believe that morality is solely determined by one society. Because otherwise you would have no basis to say that you're more correct. There's no measurement to put that on. As such, if you believe that
Well,
you're
I
more
gave you
correct
I gave
than
you
the
my
Nazis,
arbitrary measurement, but yeah, it's still
yeah,
subjective.
but your
But that also
arbitrary
doesn't mean
measurement
it
is an
doesn't.
objective
That also
lie.
doesn't mean it doesn't matter. You're making an
No,
argument that it
I
doesn't
agree.
therefore
I'm
matter,
not saying
but it does
doesn't
matter.
fucking matter. I'm not saying that.
So then, what is your
What
argument?
I'm saying is that no. So my argument is that you have given me an objective line. Now you have your subjective interpretation of an objective morality, but it is still an objective
No,
morality
it's not
in the
what that
sense that it
is.
is constantly
The fact
right
that
and
it
wrong.
is up to my interpretation, my feelings,
Okay.
that would mean
Again,
it
that's
is
not
subjective.
what a philosopher means. When a philosopher says they believe
You
in
gotta
an
send me the
objective
title
morality,
of this book because I can't find the title of your book. It's not.
So
I
when
can't
a
even
philo-
find it in Google image search. I'm typing in "Is Morality Real" by Paul
fucking
Bloom.
know,
I think you
man.
have made up this book. Send me the book.
I have not.
I'll read the book. It doesn't
I have
exist.
not. I have not.
Okay, well, you forgot it. You forgot the title of the book because it's not
I have
freaking there.
not.
Then send it. Take a picture of it and send it to me.
I don't.
Something's
will
up. Something's
when I
something
get-
something is faulty.
I'll go back to the fucking library and get the book. God damn it! But like, okay, so Amender, if a Christian, right, a Christian believes in an objective morality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, lots of
But
Christians
it's still their
believe objective
beliefs. So
morality.
is it subjective?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Correct.
but they have their subjective interpretation of an objective morality, right?
Yes. Well, they believe
Okay.
there's this objective morality, but there isn't. But because they're basing it on this idea that there is a God that has consistent rules that never changes, except for whatever reason if you select New Testament. Also, if you go across the Himalayas. Also, if you like just happen to grow up during like a very, very specific point in time and afterwards, it's subjective. bro.
So, Amender, how do you know that you are more correct than the Nazis?
Because they're killing people.
Yeah.
I believe morality
And?
stems from survival.
Okay. Who the fuck cares, right? If it's entirely
Correct.
based off
Yeah,
of
there are
one's
Nazis that
individual's
look at
feelings
me
and
and say, I don't care.
if morality is based exclusively on one's interpretation and one's feelings, how in the world could you be more correct than they are?
If morality is exclusively placed on one's own feelings, how can they be more correct? Well, based on my subjective interpretation. But that
No,
doesn't
but
mean
then-
whether or
but
not
then
that
you
it's
would have to
subjective or
agree with me
objective.
that
It's
you're
still
not-
subjective.
Wait, but then you would have to tell me is that you're
The
not
fact that the
more
Nazis
correct.
disagree with me means it's subjective by its very
Wait,
nature.
that's not what I'm asking.
I understand that you're
told
saying
you-
like one of them is more or less correct. Yeah, I think I am more correct in that it
Okay.
leads to better outcomes. And like, but that's not what the Nazi goes
How
for.
the fuck do we know that those better outcomes are moral?
Because of
On
survival.
what basis can you measure that?
Because of survival.
Okay, great.
I gave it to
Who
you.
cares?
Okay, yeah.
Right? Because
That's why it's subjective.
I find that you're very internally inconsistent.
No, it's not. It's
Because-
been entirely consistent this entire time.
No, it hasn't been, right? Because if you tell me that morality is exclusively based off of one's feelings, and that your feelings are more correct than another person's, that doesn't make sense to me. Because my feeling is that seafoam green is the best color. And if you tell me, well, blue is really the best color, who's right there? Neither of us. Neither of us are correct there. Because that's just our feelings. It's entirely subjective. But for you to say that morality is the same thing and that it's all based off of feelings, but somehow in this case, your feelings are more correct. That doesn't make any sense to me. How can your feelings be any more correct than anyone else's feeling?
Because I base it off of survival, but not everybody bases it off of survival.
Okay, how do we know that your basis is any more correct than anyone else's?
I just gave it to you. I use survival.
Okay, how do you know that your basis is more correct than the Nazis?
Huh?
How do you know that to be true?
I mean, to the Nazis, it would not be correct. That my
No, that's not
interpretation
what I
would not
asked.
be correct according to them.
That isn't
Um,
what I asked. I asked, how do you know that your basis is more correct than the Nazis? How do you know that to be true? That you are right
Because
and
it
they
doesn't
are wrong?
predicate survival on my subjective interpretation.
Okay, how do you know that your subjective interpretation is more correct than theirs?
Because it doesn't predicate survival.
Okay, so what you're telling me right now is that your feelings are better than their feelings.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Great. Wonderful. So some people's subjective morality is wrong.
Yeah, according to other people, yeah, but the same thing
Okay,
could happen
so
vice versa with the Nazis. The
we
Nazis could look at
now
my moral
agree-
interpretation. The Nazis could look at my moral interpretation and say, you're wrong.
But
Our morality
you
is better.
think-
Because it's like better for like the Aryan race or whatever.
Wonderful. Great. But you think that you're right and they're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Amanda, what's your favorite color? Just out of curiosity.
Blue.
Blue? Okay. My favorite color is seafoam green. Who's right?
Nobody.
Nobody. Okay. Is your favorite color more better than mine?
Well, I think mine's better than yours.
Yeah, you think
Seafoam
yours better.
green is
but
kind of
is it,
gross.
Like, absent
Like,
of your
ew.
feelings
Like
on
you're
it,
gonna pick seafoam
Absent-
green over like a gorgeous blue.
of your feelings of it, absent of your feelings of it, is your favorite color better?
Huh? I think so.
You think so? Great, wonderful. But is it, like, in actuality?
I mean, no, but
No,
I think
okay.
so.
So, in actuality, is your moral stance better than the Nazis?
I think so. Yeah.
But I didn't ask if you think so. I asked in actuality. Like,
But that's
clear.
the problem. It's not objective.
So the Nazis were right in what they did?
Bro, you got me. Whoa.
Okay, so we agree that the Nazis were objectively wrong in what they did, right?
No.
No? So they were right in what they did.
That's not what that means, Quinny.
Wait, they can't be both wrong and not wrong, right?
I
Like, they
think
can't be
based on
both.
my subjective interpretation, they are wrong. And so do most people. Most people think the
Okay,
Nazis they were wrong.
That's great.
But
That's
other
wonderful.
Nazis don't think what they did was wrong.
That's probably
So it's
true.
up to a person's interpretation. Ba, 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 ba. That's why it's
No,
subjective.
because then I could say
Ba,
that,
ba,
like,
ba,
some
ba.
people disagree on, like, what the diameter of Jupiter is. That does not change the diameter of Jupiter. In the same way,
I wanna get
how just
off of
because some
Mr.
people
Bones'
disagree
wild
on what the
ride.
Nazis did
I
being
want to
wrong does
get
not
off
make
of
what the
Mr.
Nazis did
Bones'
not
wild
wrong.
ride.
Okay, so we
This is
agree
not
that there
convincing
is.
me, Quinny. I am not
So
convinced.
we agree. We agree that there's no way to actually know who has the better favorite color,
Send me
right?
that
It's just our
freaking book.
feelings.
Send me that freaking
We-
book, because I
so we
guarantee you
agree-
there's no way you read this thing properly.
So we agree
This
that there is
argument
no
is terrible.
way. So we agree that there's no way to determine whose favorite color is actually better, right? We agree on that.
That's correct.
Okay.
Dude,
So
you're,
is there
you're
any
going
way
back
to
to the same
determine-
logic tree, bro. I
Is there
want to get off of
any
Mr. Bones'
way-
wild ride. I
is
want
there
to get
any
off
way-
of Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Is there any way
I
to
want to
determine
get off of Mr. Bones'
who is
wild
more
ride.
correct between? Is there any way to determine who is more correct between you and the Nazis?
I want to get off of Mr. Bones' wild ride.
You should say no to that question. To be consistent, is that there is no way to determine who's more
Get
correct
me off
with
of
the Nazis.
Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Is that the case, Amender?
I want to get off of Mr. Bones' wild ride.
You're not answering the question.
That is
I feel like
correct.
it's
Because I want to get off of Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Well, it feels like you're not answering the question intentionally because
So
you don't
I'm
want
gonna-
to answer.
So
for
I'm
some
gonna,
reason.
so I'm gonna just share this for the class. This is it's an old meme. Here, I'll show you.
Okay.
It was on Roller Coaster Tycoon it was a roller coaster called Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. And what they did was that they made the ride 2 weeks long in game. And so what happened is that people, very early in, didn't like the fact that the ride is that long, and the patrons would continuously say, "I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride."
What if we organize society around buses?
I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
We have 80 bajillion bus lanes, right? And whoever can spend the most time on buses has the most.
Are we done? Get me off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
If you're not engaging anymore, there's not much I can do, right? But say you gave me an objective measure for morality.
Yeah, but
even if it's your
I
opinion.
want to get off of it. I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
Well, it's your YouTube channel,
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't want to kick you off. Do you got anything else for me?
I have
here.
squatters' rights. What's your opinion of squatters' rights?
I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
Oh, well, that doesn't fucking answer the question. Have a good day, Amender.
Thank you.
Am I allowed to cuss on your channel?
I have no idea if it's bad for the algorithm or good for the. I have no clue. All right.
My understanding is on YouTube
assume,
is as long as it's not in the first 2 minutes, it's fine.
I'm just gonna assume. No, I don't know. I don't freaking know. Okay, I don't know. I'll try not to curse. I don't know.
Well, I'll try not to cuss because I don't want to damage your YouTube career. Do you think this YouTube channel is going to go anywhere?
Morality. It goes in circles, and I want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. You like that title, Quinny? What do you think? It's a good title.
I hate my life.
Right,
I think that one philosophy major is going to watch the video and then call you stupid.
All right, bro.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I feel like I got Tuz here. I got Tuz here to do that for me. Anyway, thank you. Hats off in chat, everybody. We want to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. Tuz says I'll call you both of you stupid. Don't worry. All right, cool. All right, so we got some new people that they want to get into the chat, or they want to get into a debate. Hey KC, can you just drop in chat what exactly what is your debate that you want to go over? And Lord Flash, what was the debate that you wanted to go over? Dylan asks, hey, what mic do you use, by the way? This is a Shure MV7. I love this mic. It's a very good mic. So yeah, it looks like KC says that he wants to do objective morality as well. I'll be honest, very exhausted from that topic. I wanted to get off of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. I didn't want to get back on Mr. Bones' Wild Ride unless if you have a different argument. Myself, I do not believe in objective morality. There's only subjective morality. I think the fact that it is up to people to interpret what rules to follow versus what rules to not follow. It ends up being subjective. However, with that being said, one thing to point out on this, I think it's really important, is just because something is subjective doesn't mean it doesn't matter, right? Lord Flashbert, could you tell me what you want to argue? Rook Spinnerd says, hang in there, Amender. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. All right, well, I'm going to bring in KC because KC responded right away, so we're going to go ahead and bring in KC.
Hey, Amender, how's it going?
Hey, KC, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. So, do you not just kick people when you get annoyed? You want them to voluntarily leave?
I mean, I'm trying different things. People just get so I don't know, just butt mad if I kick them. And I don't know. I don't know if that's good for the channel, and I don't know. I'm just trying
Well,
different stuff.
I'll tell you right now, if you feel like you're on Mr. Bones' ride with me, go ahead and just kick me. I don't want you to feel frustrated with my argument.
Okay. Well, the problem is
So-
we're just going in circles. That's my only.
Right.
That's my only concern. Is like, bro, just give me your freaking argument, and then like, if we just agree to disagree, fine, right?
All right.
That's why I
Well-
was kind of like, bro, just send me the book, and like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't find this book online. Like, I literally Googled exactly what they said. It's not there. I don't see a title. I don't see a book cover. I don't see anything, right? Like, I guess it's like one thing where it's like, maybe it could be like, what is it? It could be like, oh, it's just not Audible. Like, no problem. I'll just buy the book and then I'll read it on my off time. But like, I don't know. Anyway, what do you got for me, buddy?
All right. Have you heard much about Kant's hypothetical imperative and categorical imperative?
I remember reading not Kant, but specifically it was just like a general philosophy book, and it basically like spoke about it very briefly.
Okay.
Right? So
Well,
like I have very little knowledge, but go ahead.
it's fairly simple, I think. Yeah. So hypothetical imperative basically is like there's a subjective goal potentially, but if that goal is agreed upon, then it's like an if-then statement. So if the goal is we value humanity or we value life or something like that, it would follow then that we could find objective rules to like better that goal that we're agreeing upon. Kind of like a game, you know, any type of game, chess or whatever, like there's agreed upon rules. Since we agree on those, then there is an objective way to play the game.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so with the and the categoricals, whatever, it's basically Kant just asserting like, hey, these are objective moral principles, so just believe me. And that's like, but with the hypothetical imperative,
Well, but the problem with that argument is that it's predicated on someone's subjective interpretation, right? Which you've already basically alluded to in the fact that
right,
when you said it, right, you were like, okay, well, we're gonna all agree with these particular rules, okay? Yeah,
Right.
so like that's based off of people's opinions. Done.
right. And
Which,
and by the way,
nothing
I have
wrong
like,
with that. That's kind of all.
no.
It
You're
is.
so I have a few different points here. They're sort of premises and whatnot. So that was just the very first premise. But so you understand the hypothetical imperative. So moving on, do you agree that all life, all biological life that we have observed, inherently has a value of surviving or thriving, reproducing themselves into the
No.
future?
Not at all.
All biological has. You don't
No.
agree with that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so what's the example of life that doesn't
There's
do
some
that?
bacteria out there that's just horrible on humans
No.
and everybody. Anything
No.
that like lives,
They
eukaryotic
value
organisms is
surviving.
awful. Huh?
They value surviving themselves. I'm not saying they value other life. I'm saying they
This is
value.
the separation I have. I don't believe that survival stems from like a person valuing it. I believe that survival stems off of a form of entropy. It's like an entropic principle that it happens.
So it's like a biological imperative. Would that be fair to say?
Sure.
Not necessarily that it values. I mean, maybe you're hung up on the word value here, but there is a biological imperative across all life to continue living. Not necessarily
Yes.
like to.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree
okay.
with you.
So with that biological imperative, we could say that basically with our hypothetical imperative, the goal is met. There is a biological imperative that every single life form values, or maybe if you don't want to say values, they just do it. They literally do it. Objectively speaking, it's not an opinion. It's just something that life does.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is met. The first part of the hypothetical imperative is met. Biology wants to survive. So then it follows that there are objective ways to measure what is better and worse, good and bad for that said goal.
Yeah, I mean that's very similar to effectively like what I came up with. But then the question is like whether or not that you even like favor one group over another in terms of their survival, which ends up being a subjective interpretation. But like that's the only aspect. Like I get it. It's about as close that you can get to an objective framework, but it's still effectively subjective, right?
Well,
I'm saying there is no objective morality. It does not exist.
What it gives us is like an objective framework by which we can measure better and worse outcomes. Because the first
that's
part
correct,
of the hypothetical
but the question is
met.
what measurement you value versus not value.
Well, and that's why I'm saying the first part of the hypothetical is already met. The goal's already there. The value is life, living, continuing life in the future.
Well, I get you. Like, I like life, and I would generally like to see life continue, but we don't value life equally, and we also don't. There's plenty of things that we would be better off if it did not exist.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is this just gives us the grounding, the framework by which to work with. That doesn't mean we're all going to like observe the data, take in the data, and then immediately agree. We have to continue discussing based on this grounds what will be better and what will be worse.
Yeah, I get you, but again, it's like you're just picking a specific thing to measure, which is subjective.
Well, but so again,
like, it is true that things desire survival, right? And that is not really up for someone's interpretation, right? It is that way among organisms due to like a series of evolutionary processes that make that happen. That's true. But then you have to ask yourself, you know, why do you value that?
Wait, why do I value
that as opposed to not that?
That objective fact, you mean? Why do I value this objective fact?
Correct.
It's not necessarily that I'm valuing it, I'm recognizing it and saying like this is the foundation in which we can have discussion, take in data, observe how people relate to each other and how they relate to other life forms, and we can actually analyze that without opinion and say what is a better relationship, what is a worse relationship, just based on the natural facts that we're witnessing.
Yeah, I mean, I get you, but that's still subjective.
How is that objective if we are observing
I said it's subjective, not objective.
Yeah, my bad. How is that subjective when we are observing
because
empirical
you're arbitrarily
facts?
choosing what to value.
Hold on. When we're observing empirical facts about how life and people engage in relationship with each other.
Because you have chosen what to value.
No, I haven't chosen
yes,
that.
You have.
Because you agreed with me earlier. You said all life already has this imperative. It's not that I'm choosing it.
I agreed with you because
I'm observing that it's the universal.
Yes.
No, it's all life. It's universal across life. It's not this chosen value. It is an imperative. It just happens.
Yeah, I understand it does. And yes, I agree with you. I also base my moral systems pretty heavily off of exactly what you are saying. It's actually kind of frighteningly accurate that without me reading a single book of Kant that we come to similar conclusions. But it still would be subjective. Like, we get as close as we can to what we could consider objective, but it's still subjective, right? By its very definition.
This is where
that we don't we value different lives at different level. Things don't inherently have their own value just because it's surviving. And that like people come up with different interpretations based off of different criteria, you know, or like specific things that they have done in the past, for instance. It's a really common thing that we tend to not value people about.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. By the way, I don't think that just because people disagree that's like a good point towards moral subjectivism, right? Like people disagree about the Earth being flat, people disagree about space being real. That has no implication on how true moral subjectivism is versus moral objectivism. Like we can disagree on empirical facts. People interpret those incorrectly or differently. That doesn't mean it's subjective. It's just minds interpreting them differently.
That's fair, but like I bring you back to the definition of subjectivity. That's okay. That's fine. I'll agree with you there. That yeah, if someone interprets something wrongly, then yeah, it would be also incorrect. Hold on. So I bring you back to it. It's based on person's personal opinions or feelings rather than on facts, right? And so
right,
you're basing it off of something that is the fact, right? But the question is that you're specifically valuing the thing that derives you to the conclusion that is based off of your personal feelings, right? So that's why it's subjective.
But you're not necessarily
Don't get me
that,
wrong.
because
It's a good
as we-
framework. I like it. It's a good, but it's still subjective.
But I feel like you agreed with me earlier that it's a mind independent, like independent of my
No.
feelings. No, this is true. Independent of my feelings, all life has this inherent drive, or AKA value, to continue living. That's independent of how I feel about it. It's just a fact about natural biology.
Yeah, I agree with you, but again, we're just looping around the same problem.
I just don't understand, because you keep saying you agree with me on that part, but then you go on to say
because
that
you're talking about the
is
thing
based on
that
my
empirically
feelings,
exists,
when I'm
right?
not.
A desire of survival, right? And then you are then extrapolating the is from the ought.
No, look, oughts don't exist. Let me agree with you here. If you're talking about oughts,
Morals are
I
oughts.
agree with you.
Morals are oughts.
No, morals are facts that we can see, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like
morals aren't facts. No.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. So I was saying oughts, right? I agree with you that okay, like let me give you the flat earth example again, right? So I can tell you, I have all this empirical data that the earth is a globe. Look at all this. Look at all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, because I have this, you ought to believe me that the earth is round. I'm giving an ought statement about empirical facts about reality. That person, though, still doesn't have to believe me. Just because I'm like, hey,
again,
look at
we're
all this
stuck on
data,
you not
you ought
able
to
to
believe
derive
it.
the is from the ought.
No, nothing gets, not even your scientific empirical data has an ought. Like, just because you say, look at all these measurements that we
derive.
have.
It's true. We derive oughts from is all the time. I get it, right? Like, we have to be able to, like, you know, have some level of prescription to descriptions. Sure.
I'm just talking about epistemology here.
That doesn't stop. Yeah, I understand. That doesn't stop. That doesn't stop that the morals are subjective.
No, so look, if I present all this data to someone that the Earth is a globe, and then I say, because of all this empirical data that we have, you ought to consider that the Earth is a globe, just like the rest of us. And then that person can say, no, I don't interpret your data the same way. I don't value it the way you're saying. I think it's a flat Earth, right? So there's no ought in epistemology. Like, even with empirical fact, you can't just convince someone to believe you, no matter how much evidence you have. That's on the individual to figure out the ought. That's not on anyone else.
Well, the way that you can determine whether or not you're correct or not, I think it can be derived down to predictability, but that's beside the point.
Well, the whole point there was just to say that, epistemologically speaking, I think moral subjectivists are way too skeptical about natural facts and natural moral claims that we
Not
can
at all.
make.
I'm right
And
here.
they're
I
not
do the
near-
same thing. I'm
No,
literally
I'm
doing the same thing as you.
I don't think that I don't think you're as skeptical as empirical claims. And you can't get ought statements you can't like say you must believe this thing because I have empirical evidence, right? The person themselves has to interpret it and value it that on their own terms.
Okay, I'm still lost as to how you get to objective morality from here, but
Well, I feel like you're hinging the like defense here on the fact that people interpret the data differently. So all of us interpret the moral data differently, therefore
no, I
it's subjective.
conceded that point. I agreed with you. I said yes, that's correct. I don't think if someone is interpreting something incorrectly, but the problem here, like for example, the diameter of Jupiter, right? We go back to that. Somebody could get that wrong. In which case we could look at the math, how they got to their, conclusion, and then determine which one's correct versus false, based on predictability. But then comes to the question as to like the moral system. Like, I agree with you, like Nazis are bad, Nazis are wrong, but it's like, according to the Nazi, they think they're in the right.
It doesn't matter if they think they're in the right, though. Again,
Well,
that's the whole flat Earth argument I'm making. Like, just because someone thinks they're right doesn't make a difference, right?
Okay, so
So maybe it would help because with the Jupiter thing, you said there's measurements we can compare, like,
well,
right?
hold
We
on.
can
So I'm trying to think exactly how you remove a person's personal feelings. I don't think you can, because that's literally what subjectivity means. That's why I'm hinging on that, because that's literally the definition of subjectivity.
Well, and what I'm trying to say is you can't remove the person's subjective feelings in any claim whatsoever, including empirical claims.
No, you can, through predictability.
What do you mean?
Through
How could you?
predictability.
So you're saying
Somebody
you can
is
change
wrong or
someone's
right
mind?
based off of predictive outcome. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay. So we can make predictive statements about morality as well.
Okay, yeah. So you use a metric, which would make it objective, right? The metric which can be measured and observable.
Right.
Okay.
Which is the thing that all life already universally values.
Okay, but you're arbitrarily picking the objective thing to measure.
What do you mean?
So you care about survival.
No, all life does.
No, it's entropic.
What?
We're stuck on the is versus ought thing again.
Maybe
going in
the
circles.
part here. Okay, that's fine. If you want to drop me, I'm cool with it. I had fun
I'll
either
let you.
way.
I'll let you get the last word in. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me your closing argument, and I'll think about it.
I would
more.
just say that I think we can at the very least we can attempt to find moral foundations to work with and try to build systems and predictions as to what are better and worse outcomes for life, our relationships, our societies. But it's only going to happen through dialogue, basically. And just the same way as humans have been debating the shape of the earth, gravity, in the same way, like, this is how science progresses, and I think that morality will also progress this way if we just continue to compare notes and talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It was a good talk. Okay. That was actually a really interesting discussion. Yeah, you actually got me a little stumped there towards middle to the end. You were saying that, like, well, you're using personal feelings, and the fact that you have to use personal feel, like, it's kind of screwing me up a little bit, because I'm thinking about how, well, if that's the case, then either everything is objective or everything is subjective, basically. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to kind of open the can of worms up again, but I hope that makes sense. So, like, I was like, wait, I'm confused that why I can't use that. And then I had to just basically go back to the definition, and I was like, wait, that's all it's based off of. Yes. So, yeah. Anyway. That was pretty interesting. I'll have to think about it more. You'll get your video. I'm trying to remember where I need to go, and I'm racking my brain here. I got the horn I need, and now at this point I'm just grinding monsters when I shouldn't be. I really should be getting back to the village and getting the stupid bow. That's the whole point. I just needed some horns, and now I have too many horns. If anybody wants to hop into the debate, you could take a look at my hot takes list. If you disagree with anything, feel free to raise your hand, and we'll go ahead and have the challenging discussion. That was a challenging discussion. That was a lot harder than Quinny's. Quinny's was hilarious. I loved Quinny's. Y'all guys loved Quinny's? That was so immediate. I mean, he just came in. Oh, Jack says, the Nazis perceiving their system as correct based off of irrational assumptions, no? Or do you define rationality as subjective as well? Okay, yeah. So it is correct based off of their... Yeah, I mean, I think their presupposition is irrational, because I think that they actually were making life worse for not just other people, but themselves. So it's irrational in that sense. But, I mean, maybe some Nazis just didn't care about that. They were just like, whatever, bro. I don't care about that. I'd rather more for... It's necessary for the good of everybody. I don't know, whatever. Right. I hope that makes sense. I really got to give favorable attention to the YouTube chat, because the thing is that YouTube chat, that's what actually like helps drive views. And I'm very new to this YouTube thing, and I'm just trying to see if I can figure out what works versus what doesn't work. I don't know. I'm a very, very, very small streamer, so usually my live streams get very few views. Slightly more when there's videos, and even more for shorts. But yeah, I mean, I'm still very, very small. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see what I'm supposed to... Yeah, I think it was for the shaman's bow. I need 3 petals and 3 horns. So just give me 1 second. All right, so petal. All right, 3 petals and then 3 horns. And so I should get the bow. Sage bow. Why is it named something different? Wait a minute. Hold on. Before I do that, she has a sage bow. She freaking has a sage bow. I did that for nothing. I did all of that I was grinding for like an hour. and I didn't even need to do. God damn it! I'm so dumb. Ugh. All right, hold on. Where am I supposed to go? Do I have to talk to Ayla? Let's see. Okay, let's talk to Ayla. Chrono again. Chrono party, eat, dance, fun, fight. Okay. Yeah, nothing there. Do you guys like Chrono Trigger? I love Chrono Trigger. I don't know if you guys enjoy Chrono Trigger. I really like this game a lot. I'm trying to see what I'm supposed to do next. And they just said party, and what about these huts? Let's see what they say. You brave. Thank you. Chief Strong, you strong too. Thank you. Reptites no come around lately. Okay. Let's go to the end of time. Let's see what the guy in the middle has to say. I have no idea why I'm grinding. I'm deciding to fight these guys because I mean I'm already over leveled. I'm already definitely over leveled. Like Marl is casting Ice 2 for God's sakes. I'm not even at the Tyranno layer yet, and I'm casting Ice 2. They're very much over leveled. Anyway, it's fine. Nothing wrong with being over leveled in an RPG. Chrono has this sick Counter-Strike, bro, where if he gets hit, he strikes back, which is amazing. You get the item very early into the game, which is fabulous. I need healing. Marl. Whirl. Rock Spinnerd says /Pat. Thank you. Is that for me? Is that is the pat for me? Let me guess. These runners, these are the ones that drop horns, right? I think I'm starting to sense a pattern here. So, I got to get to the end of time. We're going to make it over there. Oh no, only 35 damage. It's because it's not doing electricity attacks. It's fine. We'll be able to truck right through that. I don't think it matters. They really do have a lot of defense. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, maybe next time use the lightning on these guys. All right. 4 tech points. Got a horn. Yep. You get horns from those dudes. Rock Spinnerd says that was a while ago. You really don't look at YouTube much. Yes, I need to look at YouTube more. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make a conceited effort to look at YouTube as much as possible. My fault, Rook. I'm sorry. You matter too. Maybe what I should do is just the chat just force it to YouTube, even though there's like not as much people talking on YouTube. Like, I don't know. I think I should like encourage more YouTube support. By the way, I appreciate it if you guys don't have my YouTube stream up. Please, if you could, if you're watching this right now, pull it up. It really does help me a lot. I mean, you can just keep it muted. I mean, you know, it does help the metrics. I think what I gotta do, yeah, there's like 3 of these things, so I'm gonna just go straight into lightning 2 here. We're gonna whack. Yeah, there we go. God, that move is so cool. That move is so cool. That hits so freaking hard. That is amazing. I love that move. Jack says, has anyone ever told you that you look oddly similar to Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire? No. I don't even know what that person looks like. I don't watch cable. I'll pull it up. Let me see here. You're telling me I look like this guy? Let me go ahead and share it on screen here. You're telling me I look like Thank you. Thank you. All right, bro. No, I've not been told that. I've not been told that, but that's very flattering. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take it as a compliment. Oh my goodness. That was an interesting debate. The Quinny one was funny though. That was a funny debate, bro. I gotta tell you. All right, what does the old man say? You found a dreamstone. I forgot how beautiful they are. You'll need to find someone who could process that mineral. Oh yeah, that's right. We gotta go back to the Mystic Mountains and make the sword. I remember now. I'm going to keep looking at that YouTube chat. YouTube chat is more important than Discord chat. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to just have the YouTube chat up. By the way, if anybody wants to get into a debate, all you got to do is just I'm going to pop it out. I'm just going to pop this stupid thing out. I'm popping it out. Pop out. There we go. Pop out. All right. Yep. That's what I want to see. Ooh, looks like we got a person who's called God Exists Adam that would like to have a debate. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. God Exists Adam, how you doing? You are currently muted, by the way. You will need to unmute yourself.
Hi, yeah, I enjoyed the discussion you had with KC.
Ah, cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. That was a challenging one. I'll give KC credit where credit is due.
Okay. So the question that he asked was on objective morality. Can you really make morality objective if you base it on objective facts? And
yes.
I mean, I would. Yeah. So your position there was yes, was it?
Well, no. The answer is no, because you're picking an objective fact to care about. Right? The question isn't whether or not the objective fact exists. That exists for sure. But you're specifically picking that out of everything else as like the thing to base your morality on, which is subjective.
Right, but how would the question is, can you really make morality objective?
No.
So I'd say that whether or not, the reason why the answer is no is because it's not people that make reality objective. Right, so the objectivity of morality has to come from somewhere else, rather than you picking a fact, right?
Are you making the argument from God?
Yes.
Okay, but I don't believe in God. I don't believe God exists.
Okay, well, if you like to just address the question, right? So if you imagine that God exists, then you could provide a yes answer to the question.
Well, yeah, that's the argument that religious people will make, but I don't find that the concept of God to even be coherent.
Okay, why is it incoherent?
I have a syllogism for it. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay. There are two conclusions that get derived from it. I'll go ahead and get it for you right now. Hold on. From Jack, he says, I would agree with the host on this one. Inferring from a non-natural property seems to entail a level of epistemological bankruptcy in that it doesn't tell you anything about morality. That's correct. Anyway, hold on one second. Let me go ahead and pull up my thing here. Just give me a sec. It's in my... Where is it? Musings. Okay, I'm going to copy it and I'll paste it inside chat so you can follow along with me. But just so you know, there are two conclusions that it derives off of. Do you understand?
Right, so there's two conclusions.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So for starters, premise one, the law of conservation of mass and energy holds true. Do you agree with that?
Within the universe, yeah.
Yep. Premise two, work is the displacement of energy through the application of force along a displacement. That's the physics definition of work. Basically, you just, you have an object, you put force on it, it transfers that energy. That's basically what it's labeling work as that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it always involves displacement, but I'll agree.
Okay. Premise three, for energy to be transferred, it must come from somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere physical, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if God enacts miracles, he would be able to perform work independent of the universe.
Well, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, performing work is by definition physical. So, I mean, the universe is physical, right?
Well, what's a miracle where work is not entailed?
No, it's entailed, yeah, because miracles involve energy, so it's entailed.
Correct. Yeah. So then I ask to you then, if God enacts miracles, he would be able to perform work independent of the universe.
I mean, he could perform a miracle in another universe.
Well, sorry. So the problem I'm having here is let me ask you this. Has God enacted any miracle in this universe? Has a miracle ever happened in this universe?
I mean, I could say yes.
You could say? I'm asking what you believe.
Well, if you ask me for an example, I'm not sure I'd be able to give an example. But
okay, do you think, like, for example, is Jesus' resurrection, is that a miracle that happened?
Yeah.
Okay. So that physically happened, according to you, yes?
Well, I'm not sure what it would physically consist of.
Well, he was dead. And the entropic processes took place. The neurons stopped firing. It no longer received oxygen and other necessary chemicals to be able to maintain its connective bonds with other portions of the brain, which would then start to degrade. The body would then begin to decay and succumb to entropic processes, as well as other organisms such as fungi and flies that would begin eating away at the decomposing corpse, and then that is somehow reversed.
Okay.
So that's a miracle, and all of that would be work, right? Because you're transferring energy from one displacement or from one thing to another in order to make that happen. So my premise 4 makes sense under your pretenses. If God enacts miracles, he would be able to perform work independent of the universe. Like, it doesn't require him to operate within the rules of the universe. Right? Because he's God. He made the universe. He doesn't need to operate on the rules of the universe, right?
Right.
Okay.
But I mean, there could be two kinds of conservation. There could be conservation within the universe, and there could just be conservation between God and the universe.
We got to keep going. I'm asking you, do you agree with premise 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So premise 5 is, if God can break the law of conservation of mass and energy, it contradicts the thousands of experiments supporting this law. So every single observation that humans have ever experienced, there has never been a situation where work being done here in the universe has ever broken the law of conservation of mass and energy, ever. And that's both at a macro and a micro scale. Okay. So the conclusion, this is the first conclusion, therefore it is not reasonable to assume that God could break the law of conservation of mass and energy. Right? Because thousands of experiments have been done. Certainly it's possible that maybe God, once in a blue moon decides to do this, but that's not reasonable to make that assumption. You see what I'm saying?
So it's an inductive argument.
So
you're saying it's probably not the case?
No, because a syllogism is not really operating off of like an induction. It is a deductive process. It is an Aristotelian logical process. So no, it's not inductive. But but what I am trying to present to you is that I believe that I can prove God false beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Because obviously that somebody can be so incredulous to the point that it is no longer reasonable. And I'm taking you through my steps, how I can show you that it is not reasonable to assume that God exists.
Well, right. So the first thing is that the first conclusion is actually based on induction, because you're reasoning from a set of observations, right? So you're reaching you're reaching a generalization or a statement about all cases, but it's not reasonable to assume that God would break the law of conservation of mass and energy in any case from a set of limited cases, which is, as you say, the thousands of experiments supporting this law. That's just the definition of an inductive argument.
Okay, fine, fair.
But I mean,
fine.
it's kind of...
I'll own that. So what's the issue?
I mean, yeah, it's not that important a point. I'm just making sure that I understand the conclusion. You're basing it on
this is
induction.
the first conclusion, right? Because there's still a place where God can hide. He can go beyond space-time, and through his process of being a first cause mover, have everything set in place in such a way that allow the miracles to occur. That's the way to allow that to happen, but I can also prove that unreasonable.
Okay, is that premise 6?
No. But it continues going on. There's 2 more premises and then the final conclusion, the second conclusion. So premise 6 is if God enacted a first cause before the universe, it implies he existed beyond space-time. Do you understand that? Does that make sense? Do you agree? Yeah,
I think that God exists both within space and time and in a way that's outside space and time?
Well, unfortunately, the mere act of existing within space-time is in fact doing work, because even a single photon touching whatever God is and that it reflecting back out is work. Right? So even the aspect of seeing it, even for but a moment, right, it would effectively be very real work, right? And considering that we've never seen an instance where the conservation of mass and energy has been broken, it's not reasonable to assume within the universe. That's already done. It is not reasonable. So we have to go on to the next one, right? Beyond space-time. So if God enacted a first cause before the universe, it implies he exists beyond space-time. Do you agree with that?
As long as I understand you correctly, I wasn't disagreeing that God does work. I'm saying that, on my view, God contains the universe. So everything that is in the universe is inside God. So God is both beyond space and time, but he also has a level at which he is within which space and time is within God. So it's not that space and time is separate from God.
Okay. Does he exist beyond
so
space-time?
God work. Pardon me?
Does he exist beyond space-time?
Yeah, he's eternal, and
okay,
he
so you agree with
space.
premise 6. So premise 7, attributing purpose to a being beyond space-time is an anthropomorphization, which is you're attributing human characteristics to something that is not human.
Well, I would say that the human characteristics come from God. So I might agree with it, but I might agree with what you mean by it.
To a being beyond space-time?
Yeah, so we get our human nature from God.
Do you agree with premise 7 that attributing purpose to a being beyond space-time is an anthropomorphization? You're attributing human characteristics to something that is not human.
We're attributing purpose to something which is greater than human.
Correct. So,
but
it exists beyond space-time, does it not?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me give you an example. I have a rock outside my door, and I got it, and it told me to say hi to you. Is that reasonable?
No.
Okay. Well, let me change up the variables a little bit. What if I, for example, went to Party City and I got like a bag of googly eyes, and I put some 2 googly eyes on the rock, and then I gave it a smiley face with a permanent marker, and I said, Rocky told me to tell you hello. Is that reasonable?
No, but I don't see how it's an analogy to the premise.
Aha. Well, because the rock doesn't possess any anthropomorphization. It's just make believe, the anthropomorphization. The one thing that you can, however, attribute some level of an anthropomorphization is that you and the rock are fundamentally linked. You abide by the same physical properties that make the universe to exist. For example, the rock is made of silica, which operates having 4-way bonds. And you operate on mostly carbon that also operate on the same 4-way bonds. So in that way, you are fundamentally interlinked with the rock in that aspect. However, if I remove the space-time fabric, removing the possibility for silica and carbon to exist, the problem with that is there is no way to assume any even remotely human characteristic to something outside space-time, because it is not reasonable to assume that. The very fact is the rock itself is a hell of a lot more human than whatever is beyond space-time. I promise you that. So the problem is that you're attributing purpose to something that is beyond space-time. And that's not reasonable to make that assumption.
Okay. Well, I just disagree that it's not reasonable. So, the rock is obviously it's just an object. You can see the extent of its existence just by looking at it. You can see its boundaries in space. Whereas when we're talking about human attributes, attributing purpose to things, well, our ability to attribute purposes to things is a metaphysical ability. And God is also metaphysical, so I don't actually see why it's unreasonable. God is a mind. Because
it exists outside space-time, and there is no fabric to have any similarity to that of humans. So I lead you to my conclusion, which is attributing purpose to God is unreasonable, leading to the conclusion that a non-anthropomorphic entity, as in not God, is a more reasonable explanation, right? Because whatever is beyond space-time, it is likely foreign to us, because in order for us to see, we need photons to travel, to go from point A to point B and bounce off of things for it to be perceptible. If you removed the space-time fabric, the very concept of seeing is now impossible. I would basically show you, imagine if I could transport you to whatever created the universe beyond space-time and I forced you to look at it. You wouldn't even recognize what you're looking at. It wouldn't make sense. Is it black? Is it white? What could it even be? Can it even make color or even the absence of color? How do you even attribute, why does whatever that is care about us? Why would it made 7 septillion planets. Does it have different rules based off of what if there's the Queeblaps and the Queeblaps better not touch the Gibloos with the Gordips, because if you touch the Gibloos with the Gordips as a Queeblap, well, you're going to get an eternal damnation of hellfire. I'm sorry, plasma. They don't have fire with the Queeblaps. Do you see my problem?
Well, I mean, I disagree with a couple of points. So, I mean, saying that it's a non-anthropomorphic entity, I just wouldn't agree to that, because it's more like the universe exists within God's mind. So if you call God set A, then the universe would be set B, and then human minds would be set C. There'd be a subset of set B. So it's not that the two are entirely separate. It's more like a subsetting of reality, where you go from that which is maximally general, which is God's mind, and then you end up with a restriction of that would be the universe and the laws of the universe, and then you get a further restriction of that, and you get human beings. And the other point that you made was about if you would look at whatever created the universe, what would that look like? Well, there has to be an overarching set of governing principles that connects both ourselves and that whatever that creator is, because obviously somehow the reality got from that point to this point, so that can only happen if there is actually a uniform set of principles that gets you from one point to the next. And so the claim that it'd be sort of unintelligible to us that doesn't make sense, because there has to be a very basic commonality between the two. Otherwise, we just wouldn't inhabit the same reality. There would just be completely separate realities, and one would never affect the other. But that's kind of similar to the other point that I was hoping to make. So I just disagree that it would be a non-anthropomorphic entity. our values, our purposes, and our morality, they obviously they come from somewhere, and whatever that thing is, it must share some degree of our nature with us, and that's what my view is.
Do you think it's possible that the universe is asymptotic?
Does that mean that it's like not connected to something else? I don't know what that means.
The universe had a beginning, but really in reality it can get closer and closer to the beginning but never actually reach it. It's kind of like if you like took the number 1 and divided it by like 0.1, and then you will go to like 0.01, 0.001, but you can't ever actually reach 0.
Yeah. Yeah. You said the word just in a. Yeah. So I'm just used to hearing the word spoken a different way. Yeah. So, I mean, in terms of space, like, I don't believe in infinitesimals. So asymptotic.
What? No, asymptotes exist.
I believe
they're real.
They're real in mathematics. Yeah.
No, they're real in reality.
I wouldn't say that
there are asymptotes that do affect reality.
How do you know that?
What? C, the universal constant.
Yeah. How do you know? Well, that's in the mathematical laws of reality, and that's to do with.
But that is reality, though. That is reality. You asked for an example of an asymptote that exists in real life, and I gave it to you. It's C.
Yeah, but what I mean is like an object, right? So what I'm denying is that space is asymptotic.
How fast something can go, it would be every object in the universe.
You're talking about the relationship between like the velocity of an object and the velocity of light.
What?
I mean, yeah, I acknowledge that is.
Yeah,
that
both
is
of
true.
those would be governed by the universal constant.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Are you talking about space when you're asking me? Do I think the universe is?
I brought up the concept of that it is more reasonable to assume that the universe is asymptotic, right? As in, it never actually technically had a beginning. It just gets closer and closer to a 0 point.
Well, no, that's what I deny. But so when you're saying.
Why are you anthropomorphizing that which is beyond space-time?
Wait a minute. I want to just address what you asked me earlier. So, like, you asked me, do I acknowledge that the universe is asymptotic? When I said is that asymptotes can exist in the laws, in the mathematical laws, and obviously you gave an example that I agree with, which was the relationship between the velocity of an object of matter and the speed of light. So I agree with that. What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that what you're asking me now, like, so that we can't actually reach the, not that we can't reach it, but is that like the beginning doesn't exist or something? It's like the. I mean, I agree that our measuring
a 0
instruments.
point. Like, we can see that there's a rough 0 point, but the problem is that when you're talking about space-time emerging, it can get closer and closer to that 0 point in time, but it can never actually reach it.
What can get closer to the 0 point in time?
Space-time.
Do you mean our measurements?
Space-time. Not our measurements,
So
space-time.
space-time?
Space-time literally was that small.
Right, so you're saying space-time can't get to 0?
Yes. It's asymptotic.
Okay, but I mean, I would just regard, I mean, for one thing, there's all these different issues with, but we have pretty good evidence that space is discrete.
As opposed
So
to an
this is also-
anthropomorphic entity?
What do you mean?
As opposed to an anthropomorphic entity, which is perfectly logical to you?
what is opposed to an anthropomorphic entity? I think that God is infinite and eternal.
An
and outside
asymptotic
space.
existence, you said, didn't sound reasonable to you, as opposed to a God did it. That is reasonable to you.
Well, yeah, because there's reasons for the latter, and there's reasons for the former as well. But I'm not talking. I can believe that space is discrete, and also believe that God created the universe.
Okay,
There
I
is no
think attributing a purpose or attributing a mind and that it cares about us is an anthropomorphization of something that is beyond space-time, and space-time is beyond something beyond space-time would be entirely foreign to humans, and so it is not logical to assume an anthropomorphization.
Okay, but I answered this earlier. So I said that whatever the universe comes from, it has to share a basic common principle.
Why can't it be non-anthropomorphic, like the asymptotic universe or a first cause mover that doesn't really care about humans at all?
Well, an asymptotic universe would also be connected by some common principle with us.
Nope, not necessary.
But why?
You're asking the universe why? Why don't I ask the rock?
No,
hey, rock, why? Is it reasonable to ask the rock why?
I'm asking you why would there not be any...
I'm asking, is it reasonable to ask the rock why?
You're changing the question, right?
No. It's the same question. Is it reasonable to ask the rock why?
I'm asking you to give the reason for your argument.
I am. I'm giving it to you right now. Is it reasonable to ask a rock why?
Right. Let's just say I say no, right?
It doesn't respond. But you know what's crazy about this question is that you can actually just make it bigger. And in some cultures, you'd be surprised. People say it is reasonable. So let's make the rock bigger. What if it's the mountain? Is it reasonable to ask mountains why?
Not really.
Okay. What about if I asked the Earth, hey Earth, why? Is that reasonable?
No.
What about the universe? If I asked the universe why? Is that reasonable?
Well, the universe as a set of objects is not going to reply to you.
That's correct. And let's go ahead and expand it even further. The cosmos, so that which is beyond space-time as well as inside space-time. Is it reasonable to assume? Is it reasonable to ask that why?
Well, the reason might be attributable to that, yeah. I mean, asking it might not respond to you if you ask.
The very fact that I made the rock bigger seemed to you think that it is now reasonable.
Yeah, because it's a fallacy of composition. Because those are just objects.
Well, this is the issue. I'm telling you that it's not anthropomorphic. It doesn't possess any human-like qualities whatsoever because it's beyond space-time. It's not reasonable to assume whatever it is beyond space-time, it should that even be possible, be like human. It's not reasonable, right? So we're stuck on that, but you say it is. So asking it why makes no sense to me. It makes a lot of sense to you.
Okay, but like I said before, whatever the universe comes from, it has established the rules by which the universe works, including
That's fine. I can
nature.
attribute a universe coming from. I can attribute universes existing, but I require no anthropomorphization of that which is beyond space-time, nor do I require an anthropomorphization of an asymptotic universe.
Well, I mean, like I said before, so whatever is outside the universe has to be anthropomorphic to a degree because there's a connection between us and whatever created the universe, that we operate by the same principles.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, but which part of it doesn't make sense?
You're attributing that it's asymptotic beyond space-time. It's not reasonable to assume that.
No,
It doesn't
I'm not
even
saying anything
have
about
the
asymptotic.
basic mechanisms needed to make molecules. It doesn't even have that.
I don't know why you're mentioning asymptotes. All I'm saying is that molecules, everything that exists in this universe, anthropomorphization, they're all governed by a set of principles, and those principles come from whatever is outside the universe. So
Okay,
whatever
but
created
you're the one
universe.
that it makes it anthropomorphic. I'm not. I'm attributing it to likely an asymptotic universe, or if there is something beyond space-time, it would be entirely foreign to humans and would likely not be aware nor care about us.
Okay, so
I mean, why can't it
so
just be like a stage that just makes universe? Why is that not possible? Why can't that be a thing?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
So it's a
I don't know why
stage,
you're
right?
saying that-
Because I imagine if it's beyond space-time, there's no temporal reference. And so under that basis, it would just basically be like this frame of no dimension that never changes and somehow temporally makes universe. Again, that doesn't make any sense either. That's why I'm stuck on the asymptotic system, because at least the asymptotic system, it can get closer and closer to zero but never reach it. I'm still stuck on it, man. I don't think you've defeated my syllogism here. I really don't.
Okay, so you bring up an asymptotic universe as like something to contrast with what I'm saying, but I don't see why it does contrast with what I'm saying. So
It
earlier I
does,
agreed
because that would ground all universal laws.
yeah, so it shares that's an example of what I'm talking about. It shares common principles with us. So that would also give you a reason to anthropomorphize whatever
Doesn't care about
universe
us.
comes from.
Doesn't care about
Well,
us.
that's
Never thought about us.
Well,
Never
you-
is. There's nothing human-like about that.
That's just repeating the claim. Like I just said, our human nature would come from that thing. So it can't be fundamentally disjoined from our human nature because it's come from that point. We don't have anything to our disposal that does not come from that asymptotic beginning that you're coming up with. So there's a principal connection between our anthropomorphization, our human existence, and that thing. There's still that connection. That's what I'm trying to point out.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Okay, but why? I mean, do you acknowledge that there's a sequence
Yeah,
of
yeah.
events?
You're saying
governed by law?
okay, but why? But you're giving whys to that which is beyond space-time. Again, attributing some sort of bizarre consciousness, and it's not conscious. Like, why would I assume that there's something conscious there? That doesn't make any sense. And so you asking that why is equivalent to you asking a rock why. It's not logical to assume such a thing. It possesses no anthropomorphization, yet it at least has the universal laws to work off of. At least the rock does. But that which is beyond space-time does not. We're stuck on that.
Okay, but I mean, if you're agreeing that which is beyond space-time has instituted the laws, then I'm assuming you agree that
I
laws
can
are
easily
abstract.
invoke an asymptotic universe that invokes the laws. Yep, you're not doing the presuppositionalism argument. You've already lost that.
And the asymptotic thing doesn't disagree with what I'm saying.
What?
But that's still connected to. That's
No,
still
it's
connected to us by
explaining the problem of causal chains. The first cause mover argument. I understand the first cause mover argument. We're stuck on that.
Right. So all I'm saying is that wherever the universal principles come from that govern our universe, there has to be something
The
abstract.
asymptotic universe.
Right? So it has to. Yeah. So the idea of an asymptote, an asymptote has a mathematical definition. Mathematical definitions are abstract,
Nope.
right? So it's an abstraction.
No,
So it comes from a mind, right? Abstractions only come from
they
minds.
are things that describe how things are in the universe, but it's just a property. But that's beyond the point. I've invoked the existence of universal laws through the asymptotic universe. That's it. I require no anthropomorphization. You, however, do. On that basis,
I'm
we're
just gonna say
already
what I said again.
already about 10 minutes past when I usually stop streaming. So I'm going to go ahead and let you have the last word, and then we'll leave it at that. Okay? I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was more interested in the morality thing, but I mean, it was nice talking to you.
That's great. I appreciate these more difficult debates.
Okay, sure. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. Good talk. All right, y'all. I think that is about it. What do we even call that? Was that what do we call this? Do we call this Oh, Jack says the universe is not sufficient to ground the laws of logic, unlike God through God's self. But I did not invoke the universe. I invoked the asymptotic universe. Anyway, this was good. That was good. That was a good discussion. Okay. What do we call that? What do I even say that debate was? Like, on the... Did God make the universe? There you go. That's the one. Did God make the universe? Cool. All right. Okay. That is going to be it for today, guys. I really, really appreciate y'all for sticking in all the way through the end. Those who have, that's amazing. By the way, just FYI, I would recommend to subscribe if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel. I'm very small and I'm trying to get bigger, so I would really appreciate it. I posted in side chat the oh, it looks like Debate God would like to speak. Debate God, I have to actually end it up because I have to start my edits. But I do this every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So bring your best arguments. I'd be more than happy. And by the way, I do upload arguments where I lose. Okay, I do. Okay, so there's that about me. Anyway, I really appreciate y'all. I got to get these edits done so that way I can go to bed like at a decent time. Thank y'all for joining. It looks like Debate God is really requesting to speak. I'm going to give you real quick, Debate God. Very quick, but I seriously got to go to bed. I really do. Or I'm sorry, I gotta do my edits. Oh, okay, he's good. All right, cool. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it. And out. I focus on the edits. Yeah, I'll call you.
Yeah. That went really well.
Yeah, that was a very interesting debate there.
Especially the Quinny one. That was right.
The Quinny one was fucking hilarious.
He's a fucking potato for sure. Oh well. What can you do?
All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna this is gonna be my notes. Videos. So I went to 113. All files. So all the way to 117. So we got to do 118 plus. I have a lot of videos. My God. 118 videos. It's crazy.
like a boss. That's you.
Notes. Okay. Wait, am I still streaming? Oh my god.